Welcome to episode 220 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. Robert's technically here tonight.
I'm virtual.
I would say Robert is here but not here. So if it's audio, he's here for you. If you're watching this, you can see that he is not physically here.
Dude, look at the sparkles on my shirt. It's not even sparkly.
I know. I was trying to figure out what's going your Elton John outfit over there.
Yeah, it's a white and black shirt. It's like just I don't know. It's like heathered black, but on the camera, it's like
your beard's also glistening too.
That's weird.
Fun camera.
Yeah, it's that cheap ass camera on my laptop.
So we got Robert. Katie is not here currently, but she should be here at some point. She is fulfilling like teacher/parental duties. She's at a meeting. Anyways, she'll be home shortly. How's it going, Robert? It's been a while since we've seen you on here.
Been like 3 or 4 weeks.
I've missed you. Your chair is not empty. It's full of junk. But if you were here.
Uh-oh. All right. I don't know if y'all can hear me or can hear James, but right now he has a stupid, funny look on his face. Yeah, it's good to be back. Let me see. Let me get in the chat here. Anybody in the chat?
The internet, we should be up. I think we're back. There we go. There's Robert. So again, everybody that was live got to listen to Robert, I'm sure, talk.
I didn't do shit.
Oh, good. The rest of y'all listening on the podcast got to hear me ramble on about not having internet. All right, well, maybe that's out of the way. Our internet issue for the night may be out of the way. We're good.
And then I wasn't logged into the chat either, so I couldn't be like, can anybody hear me? But now I am. So
yeah, I was going somewhere with it. I don't know.
You said you missed me.
I did miss you. So Robert moved. He's no longer 3 minutes away. He's now only like 25 minutes away if you're a bird.
Yeah.
But if you are at 5 to 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, he's like an hour and a half away.
Yeah. It's insane. It's a 25-minute drive normally.
Yes.
But it's taken me as long as an hour and 20 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
It's the joys of I'm not going to be making it for the actual broadcast, like in the studio, because it's just, I'd have to leave work at like 3 and then just get down there and hang out for 4 hours.
Yeah. The 5 o'clock traffic. Well, it's a lot of saying 5. The 5 to 7 o'clock traffic from Houston to where we live is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be an accident for sure at some point, and that's going to slow it down.
Well, like the place I just went and had dinner at is 1.2 miles, and it took 14 minutes to get there.
That's because there's 700 red lights between you and anywhere down there.
Yeah, for sure. And 7 million cars.
Yes.
So
Robert now lives in Houston. He's officially a Houstonian.
I am in like River Oaks of Houston too, like the fancy part of Houston.
Yeah.
It's something.
That's Robert, because Robert is known for fancy. If I was thinking fancy, I think Robert Powers.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You should.
Yes. All right, let's get through our sponsor stuff. I don't have Katie's write-up for Lewis and Lil's Shop of Horrors, but if you're looking for quality feeder, frozen, or live rodents, if you're in the area, insects, dubias, and all that, check out Lil's, Lil''S, Shop of Horrors on Facebook. Give them a shout out. Go get your rodents from them. Go get your roaches from them. They're great people. They feed high quality food to the rodents, not just feeding cheap pellet rat food that everybody seems to feed because it's super cheap, because Jesus Christ, it's apparently expensive to feed rats nowadays. But go check out Lil's Shop of Horrors. I know Katie does that better. She's got a whole thing on her phone. I don't have it. But go check them out. And then Herb's Reptile shows this weekend. Yeah. Longview, Texas. June 22nd, June 23rd. Go check out them in Longview. If you go there to that show, I haven't been there. It's actually probably been years now, but they still have the same food truck. Go get you it's like a peanut butter and something grilled sandwich. I don't know. Everybody goes apeshit over the peanut butter sandwich.
It is the grilled cheese with peanut butter.
Yeah, it's supposed to be amazing.
Really good.
But they have a great. It's a grilled cheese truck. It's awesome. It's so good they make sure to bring it back every show for the last like 3 years. So go get you one. Slidell, Louisiana is July 20th and 21st. Sulphur, Louisiana, which is the old Lake Charles show, is July 27th and 28th. We may or may not be able to swing through there. It's going to be on our way back.
And there again goes James again with his very expensive, shitty internet. Yeah. So he's talking about the Sulphur, Louisiana show. They'll be on their way back from the Smoky Mountains, I think. I know I'm taking him to the airport in a couple of weeks, and he'll be gone for a week. So they'll be on their way back, and they will drive basically right by the show. But you know how that goes when you're driving back from a trip. Do you really feel like stopping and dealing with a bunch of people? So we'll see. We'll see. All right. He just sent me a text. There he is.
Herpshow.net/shows. Go check those out. I know for everybody live, you did not hear all those listings, but I'm not doing them again. I did them on the recording.
I kept talking that time.
Oh, see, there you go. Y'all get the fun behind the scenes. Robert led in.
Robert going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
So yeah, go check out herpshow.net/shows to find out when the next show is near you. Also, if you need LED UVB light bulbs, go check out VivTech products and order your LED UVB light bulbs. Use code GUMBO22 to save 15%. Robert, you just ordered some VivTech bulbs, didn't you?
I did. I ordered one a couple of days ago.
Because you got a new. We'll talk about your new snake in a little bit because our guest tonight has a connection to that snake.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that one in a little bit. But yes, go check out VivTech products. Get you some LED UVB light bulbs. They'll last you at least 4 years. I'm willing to bet more. They last better than those little curly Q bulbs that after 6 months they tell you to throw away, even though they give off light, but they don't give off UVB anymore. VivTech products. Go get you one. All right, I think I'm good. I think I've got through everybody. So
that was all of our sponsors.
Yes.
Cool.
As far as updates for us before we get into our guest, I'm still waiting on a snake to give birth. I know I said that like a month and a half ago, and it feels like about a year ago. I don't know. She's never fucking given birth.
No.
I don't know. Like everybody's like, I thought you breed snakes. Shouldn't you know? Look, I do. And when they do normal shit, I know. But this one, she shed about like what I thought was like a month into her being pregnant, because she looked very pregnant and wasn't eating and was acting pregnant. But normally you start counting from the shed, but I thought she was pregnant prior to that. But now at this point, I'm like, well, maybe that was the normal shed. And if that's so, she's not due till the end of July. And if that's true, I don't know how fucking big she's going to get. Because she already looks like she ate a small cat. Oh, maybe a large cat.
I mean, that'd be cool if she did.
Yeah, as you and I have both upset people on Facebook today about cats getting killed.
Oh, you saw that?
Oh, yeah, I commented also.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun if they keep commenting back, because I'm going to let it keep going. Just a heads up to everybody. Don't let your cats outside. Don't let your cats outside.
And if you do, don't blame when the neighbor's dog kills your cat that's in their yard.
Don't blame when the neighbor's dog does it, or if someone shoots it, or someone runs over. Don't blame it.
Keep it traps it and takes it away to the animal shelter because it's outside, because it's shitting in their flower bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because cats suck. Keep them inside. Nasty. Their argument was, well, the dogs were outside too. I was like, yeah, that's wrong too, but your cat still wouldn't have died if it wasn't outside.
Well, like I said in my comment, there were no responsible pet owners involved in this entire situation.
Nope. So keep your animals inside. All of them. All right. Let's get to our guest. Let me pull up our guest. We've been waiting to have them on for a while. Our guests are Robert and my brain went blank for a second. Stacy. I know. I could look up. It's right there on the screen. I can see it. Robert and Stacy Moss of Moss Family Adventure. But I got to thinking about the cats and everything else and got sidetracked. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Very good. Our partner Kaylin just texted me and said, "Don't engage with the cat stuff." Okay.
Hey! You are grown individuals. You don't need to listen to people. You can engage and all that you want.
But when you have a level-headed partner that is aimed at being politically correct, yes, we're gonna just say to that.
Politically correct is not. That is not the name of this podcast.
No, that's for sure.
Okay.
So there may be a lot of things where y'all just have to stay out of the conversation.
We'll let Stacy do all the talking.
No,
She takes giant sips and try and not talk.
we don't. No, we don't tell the introvert to do all the talking.
And let's be honest, for me to try to stop talking is truly a challenge.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if my internet goes out at any point, which apparently it may tonight, I knew before I started this, I should have just restarted everything. And I was like, nah, it'll be fine. I pressed a button, internet started working, and now it just may keep going in and out because pay a shit ton for
The
internet.
Roberts will unite, and we will make it through.
So Kaylin's in the chat, and she says she likes cats. You can like cats. I have
love
no problem
cats.
against people liking cats.
Yes, ask her where her cats are.
Are they outside or inside? They're inside. That's fine.
Perfect.
If
we love inside cats.
That is where the murder mittens should stay.
Yes, it's if they're outside, they should be humanely euthanized.
All right, here we go. You got me. We're just going to start off on this. They are the worst scourge of the earth, worst, most invasive thing outside.
Second to humans. Second to humans.
Well, yeah, true.
Again, politically correct. I'm going to go ahead and skip over that one.
He will get on a whole soapbox about cats being outside and how they're like.
James and I do it all the time.
But yet politicians want to chase after the Burmese on this section of Florida that can survive the winter because it's so far down in Florida. Those are the real problem. No, sir. No, sir. Not even in the Everglades. They don't even come close to the cat problem in the Everglades.
Well, they ignore the monkeys and all the parrots and everything else living out there in the Everglades.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Why not? Yeah, let's attack the serpents. But they are invasive too, so they shouldn't be there.
Oh, I agree. I would totally go hunt Burmese pythons.
Laws. Let's start with Mittens the murderer.
Yes.
But they're cute and fuzzy, and we can't do the cute and fuzzy things.
Yeah. And
I was just driving back from dinner.
What's that?
I was just driving back from dinner and saw a lady feeding like 20 cats in an empty lot.
Okay.
That's the other thing about cats. I always say about cats versus dogs. If you let your dog go, there's a good chance that thing's going to starve to death. Like you see skinny dogs all the time because they're stupid. They're just stupid. They're looking for a bowl of food. They're dumb. But cats,
they're like, people feed me? No? Okay.
Cats will just go kill shit. They're like, there's no food in the bowl? I'll go murder things.
Yes.
And then if there is food in the bowl, they'll still
I'll go do it for fun.
They just like to murder. I saw a post on Facebook, actually. It was like someone had taken like the contents of what they found in a cat's stomach. And it was like, they just took a photo of it in their hand. And it was like a bunch of salamanders, a bunch of lizards, like a bird, like a bunch of like crazy how many animals were in that thing's stomach.
Man. All right. Let's move away from cats because I will talk about how much I hate them all.
Not going anywhere better.
He will. Keep on.
So, you guys, we met y'all through the herp shows because that's where we first met y'all. How long have you been keeping snakes?
My first snake was a failed ball python whenever I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Okay. Failed, it didn't eat?
How did you guess?
Yeah. I'm just based off of your age and knowing ball pythons then. There are a lot of ball pythons that starved.
Yeah.
Well, so then that didn't go well. So then you didn't have snakes again for a while. And then you got them when you were a little bit older. Again, you started getting
17. I moved out. So my parents were like, "Oh no, you can't keep snakes because they're difficult." So then at 17, I moved out, and it got real unhinged. The local Petco guy, his name, he was the manager. And this was actually like a snake guy. So like venomous keeper, rattlesnakes in his house, like legit did not like people, loved reptiles. And he was like, taught me a little bit. And he was like, don't. Oh, well, I guess I can back up. That was the time of the Craigslist. It was a good time, but a sketchy time.
Buy anything.
And if my old truck could make it to the Craigslist listing for said exotic snake, me and old Red were going. And you would swore I kept everything in aquariums, of course.
That's the best way. Yeah, just tons of glass aquariums. That's
and
amazing.
then I would make like the chicken wire tops. I mean, it was horrible. But
you were a teenager who like was.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people kept them that way, and it's not
Yeah.
that that's a wrong
Yeah.
way. It's that maybe there's better ways. You know?
It's not the easiest way for some, for sure.
Oh, definitely not. Especially not with a 200-gallon tank that I. Oh, so and he's like, don't go get those retics. Don't go get those retics. You've been keeping reptiles for all of 3. Don't go get those retics. And I was like, oh, I'm getting these retics. And the first 3 serious snakes were a 15-foot retic mainland female, a 9-foot tiger retic, and a 4-foot little het albino retic.
Hey, I mean this with all due respect. You're a dumbass.
Oh, fully. Like you, on top of the fact that you would swear that I was breeding mites at the time. Like it was, I didn't know about anything. So all that to be said, and I guess we can get into this later. So my path in with reptiles and with pets and stuff like that it's really where I found like our meaning and what we're doing this for. Just trying to kind of like not be the guys that are super sciencey. No offense, James. But
I'm not super science. I'm fairly science.
Oh, dude, I can name any snake and you can give me the scientific name.
That is not true.
Oh,
That's
it's
not true.
Close.
I suck at scientific names.
Okay. Well, that's how I've always viewed you. So you are a scholar among average men. So anyway, it's just
You started at 17.
17.
So he's 31 now. So
yeah.
math.
So the 15-foot retic came in with the respiratory tract infection. The Petco guy, I told him that she was bubbling and I thought it was cute. Yeah. So then he came and I did have like a ghetto house. So I had an extra bedroom that we like put a towel underneath and, you know, had her secluded in there and just raised the temperature. And he got these oral, you know, stuff that we had to stick some of the fish tank tube down her throat and like give her that stuff. Oh yeah. So I got bathed by holy water. So we got rid of her, and then the tiger retic was just an absolute menace. And my favorite was that little retic because for the first time, and I'd had like Amazonian tree boas and Dumeral's ground boas. I thought they were really cool. They had another Petco guy that was breeding them like 10, 11 years, 12 years ago. And I went to his house and got to see like this fresh litter that he had just established. And I mean, they were super high pink and just beautiful. So I had that. And for the first time though, with this little retic, I was like, oh my God, it looks like intelligence. Like it seems like something beyond the other species that I had kept. And I had him for some time and he got big because I thought the goal was to get them to rabbits as fast as possible.
That's what the internet says.
Yeah, for sure. Like a rabbit a week, right? Well,
Yeah, you're not a real man unless you have a giant snake.
Yeah, and then you grew it up yourself. That was the important part. And I grew it. And here comes Aurora. Hey, baby.
It's backwards. Hold on.
Yep.
You can keep talking now.
It's not, see?
Yes, it
kind
is.
of is. Kind of is.
It's not. It's
Yep.
not. See?
You go.
It's not backwards, as I.
She wants to be part of this podcast so bad.
Wait, she's actually right.
Oh, it was the back. Good job.
Look at y'all.
Yep.
Dummies.
Yes, I told Stacy today, I was like, this, she keeps me in line.
Okay, baby, go back to your room.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
So you had a giant retic, and then you
Yeah.
realized, oh shit.
I'd gotten it to where it could eat 2 rabbits a week. That was
Hold on, stop. First off, it could, I'm sure.
And it
Oh,
probably
it can.
would.
It
Yeah.
can confirm.
But
Yeah.
what should have also been said with that, but it shouldn't eat 2 rabbits a week.
Should it be 3? Was I messing up? It's every other day, right? No, this is terrible. Anybody listening, God, please learn from. Did he freeze? I can't tell. Or is he
Yeah.
just in shock?
No, he froze.
Oh, he froze.
Okay.
Well, it's just us. Just keep telling your story and
I glitched his brain.
Yeah.
So
They pay so much for internet, and that shit is horrible.
Yeah.
I pay $80 a month, and it works great.
Yeah, we're about there. And
After
All right, we're back. If this goes out one more time, this is what we're going to do. If it goes out one more time, I'm going to stop the recording where we are. I'm going to restart everything, turn it back on, and then just pick back up from there. But
And it works fine for us.
I have the part that it's recording on is the problem.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
I like the part where it looked like I sent you into full shock whenever I was like, no,
you were like this. That's how you froze, James.
Got it.
I was like, should I leave now? So then he was like 12 foot long in a matter of like 4 years. And I had some carpets that I'd picked up at a show. It's whenever I had big money. And I mean, no, it was very cheap. And there were 2 Jags. And, you know, of course, they didn't tell me anything or educate me anything about the Jag gene.
Did you breed them together? Please tell me you didn't breed them together.
No, I had
okay.
no intent of ever breeding. I never wanted to breed. That was never something that I wanted to do. So I was just wildly collecting everything that I could because Mama
been
said
there,
and now I can. So I saw the way I tell the story is I'm cleaning this 8-foot cage for this 12-foot retic, but in reality it was actually a 6-foot cage. And I'm cleaning this cage, which is a glass tank in the middle of a Louisiana summer, and it's miserable. And I look over to the side and I'm like, these little carpets are everything that the personality of my retic is in these pint-sized little animals. And I got rid of everything. And then I found out
everything but the carpets.
But the carpets and a couple
everything
boas.
Else.
And a couple boas.
Yeah, you had a boa.
Yeah.
And boas are the best.
Boas, that's a statement that you can make.
It's the correct one. It's okay.
Yeah. And then then I found out there were more species of carpets, and it was kind of and then you could mix them, and then it was
once he found carpets, it was kind of like, this is superior, got rid of everything else, and like, love it first carpet, basically.
Yeah, love it first 2 carpets. That is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I am there right now.
Oh.
Exciting.
Yeah, so
okay, he said something earlier.
Yeah.
Came on.
So Robert got a.
Can I tell them?
Well,
yes,
I like my telling it better, but go ahead. Sure, it's your story.
So back at the last Pearland show, the one where we did the crawfish boil at my house.
The basketball, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Volleyball court. You guys sold a Brettles python that was a hypo het stonewash to a friend of mine and for her son. And about 2 weeks ago, she contacted me and said, "Hey, my son has completely lost interest, is not taking care of the snake. Do you want it? And the enclosure that we bought from you." And I was like, "Sure." So I went and got it, and it's sitting right there now.
Oh, nice.
So there's a clause. That's my snake. I don't know how to break this to you.
Sorry.
Dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah. He's in I got one of those 4x2x2 dubia cages.
Yeah.
And James picked it up for me at the Conroe show, and the cage is awesome. And I got him all set up in there. I got to get some more decor. Right now he's just all on one side. But he's they're basking under his heat right now, just chilling out.
Dude, that is awesome.
That's cool.
So yeah, he had been outside in a 20-gallon long for like a month under their carport.
Okay, so whenever I tell people, like, I do my best to not say bulletproof, because then that like indicates that you can abuse them.
Yeah.
But bloody hell, bread lies are like bulletproof.
Oh yeah.
If you end one of those snakes, you really should reconsider. Own an outside cat, please.
Yeah, right.
You'll kill it. You'll kill the outside
right.
cat. It'll die.
He was pretty skinny. They had been feeding him small mice.
Okay.
And he's probably 2.5 to 3 foot long now. And so he got a small, like a fuzzy brat this week, last week, and he's getting another one tomorrow.
Can I see him?
Right now he is.
It's
here,
okay. It's okay.
Let me see if
I have an addiction.
I will tell you what I'll do.
What's funny is the first picture Robert got, I looked at it and was like, I think that's a Brettles. All I said was a carpet python. I was like, I think that's a Brettles, but that's a shit looking Brettles. And then And then we got there and looked at it. I was like, okay, that picture was fucking horrible.
Yeah, pictures really don't do them justice.
Well, because I took a picture of it and I was like, and it looked much better. Like the picture they took, it was washed out, very like tanly. It did not look right. And then
photos just really don't pick up the reds very well.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, there he goes again.
No, who?
James.
No, I'm right here.
Oh, y'all just like stopped. Like there was just nothing there all of a sudden.
I'm here.
Okay.
You're over here just anticipating this.
I'm going to present, James.
Go ahead.
I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Don't show these tips again. Whatever.
Don't show tits. What?
No. Something.
Tips.
And then let me go to my.
I don't know what Caleb.
You tell me when you're ready, and then I'll hit add to stage.
All right. I'm going to hold on.
I'm waiting. Oh, we're waiting in anticipation.
Go ahead.
There we go.
So there's a photo I just took of him.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, see, I can even see the reds there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's turning out good.
Oh yeah. The original picture we got, it was not that color. That's not how the picture looked. It was horrible.
Yeah. So
awesome. I like the set too. He's gonna love that.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna get one of the Universal Rocks backgrounds with the ledges.
Oh yeah, yep.
And put that in there.
Get wider.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the one I'm getting is they call it the ledges because it looks like a stone, like not a stone, like a cliff edge with big wide ledges on it.
Yep.
So that as he gets bigger, he can bask up there, and it actually has like little spots where he'll be able to tuck in too.
That's nice.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, he's pretty. He's a little cranky still. Because I don't think
5-minute rule. Are you familiar with the 5-minute rule?
Oh yeah.
For the way that I say it.
I've heard you say it probably 1,000 times, but yeah.
Okay.
But say it again. Nope, the people here haven't heard it, so you might as well.
Now I feel like I'm babies in the corner. It's okay. I don't have to say it. So with carpets, I'll look at like 6-year-old little girls and say the same thing with their moms there, and I find out really quick whether a carpet python is the snake for them or not, because I'm not going to send them home imagining that it's not going to strike or bite or be nippy. Right. So, and if they can't handle that, but it's funny that we bring up cats at the beginning of this because I always use that as a comparison. So they ask, if I typically, I'm not going to pull out a snake that I know to be feisty whenever I'm dealing with a little kid. I'm going to, do this, but I will always with 100% certainty say, if the carpet python nips you, and I always use the word nip instead of bite, because then it's not like bringing up the terrible bite, which it isn't. So I compare, if it nips you, you do not put it down for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Your kid is in more danger if you've ever let your kid pet a kitten on the stomach, because there's whatever that is, plasma.
Toxoplasmosis.
Yeah. That thing, the blood disease that cats can carry. Yeah. So actually cat scratch fever is a different, we found
it's a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's from the fleas, I think, that can infect the cat's blood and then the cat dies. Anyway. So that's also this. So there's 2 that can be passed on to kids. So it's actually more dangerous to be scratched by a kitten. And let's face it, petting a kitten on the stomach, everybody's been nipped by. With the carpet, if it nips you, you continue to play it for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes of getting it to go through your hands, if it's still showing defensive posturing or nipping you, then put it down. And put it back up, and we want good tactile reinforcement. The next day you can try it again. I have not had a customer not be able to break a carpet, with the exception of a jag or 2. So I never recommend.
That's because they're special. You got to sell a helmet with them.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Not all of them.
No.
I mean, it's not a matter of like even some with wobble can still just chill out. But as far as if they have wobble, they all have wobble. But some you can barely tell, and some it's like, why did this make it past the innate phase?
Oh, you can definitely tell if you turn the temps up and try to feed it. You do those 2 things to them, and then it really shows up.
Yeah, because then I mistake them for retics with their flailing out to try to catch the food.
Yeah, anything they hit, they'll try to bite. They're special snakes. I had one, and I was like, yeah, I'm not cut out for this special snake.
Yep. We still do the DJJs, so the Diamond Jungle Jags. It tends to chill that out a lot, just in my experience. But I think that that's actually over a broad carpet community agreement. They even have some people that do Diamond Jungle Jag to Diamond Jungle Jag with little to no issues, other than the 25% super death rate. But we don't do that. So I don't know where we got off.
You were just talking
I don't
about
know. Brettles are cool though.
Yes, I'm very happy that you have a bread lie. And is this your first carpet, Robert?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Male or female?
He's a male.
Okay, cool. Yep. If you ever planned on getting another one, or if you're just gonna keep him as a pet, either way, once he gets up to like small rats, I would back off feeding to like once a month.
Yeah.
And then during the winter, just like no food for like 2 months.
As soon as he gets cages, he's going to get heavy into carpets because I'm about to throw 2 on him as soon as he gets cages for him.
Wait, why are you about to go on him? Wrong, this Robert, right?
On the other Robert up
Which
there.
Robert?
Powers.
Pointing it. Wait.
I just,
What do you have?
I've got carpets. I have a Brettles. I like my Brettles, but I've got a jungle that I just don't have the time or space or anything for. And then I've got a, my brain's from blank. It's a coastal. I'm trying to remember the locale. It'll come back to me in a little bit.
Brisbane.
Huh? It's a Brisbane. Yeah.
Brisbane. Yeah.
I got a Brisbane coastal.
Female or
That,
male?
female.
I would like her. I have 2 males.
It's already one.
Are very.
I'm good with that if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, they are large, which I know that you're not afraid of large, Robert.
No, not at all.
So the Brisbanes are the true McDowell eye. They are, if anything's going to get massive, that's the snake that's going to get massive.
Yeah.
And there's so very few of them because they are running into genetic depression issues as far as not having a lot of genetic diversity. Obviously, Australia being shut down adds to that issue.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I'm going to go make Stacy some more coffee, and she's going to tell you about everything.
I mean, I'll tell you about whatever you want to know. Not everything.
So, Stacy, for the folks that are watching, what do you have behind you right now?
So this is our display that's in our living room. Most, like all the rest of our snakes, are out in the reptile room, but these are in the living room because these are some of our personal pets and our favorites. So we've got my albino, Darwin albino girl that was my first ever favorite carpet, and her name is Daenerys, after Daenerys Targaryen.
What a white chick.
Of course.
Got it.
And then we have a zebra over here, which is one of Robert's favorites. It's a beautiful black and yellow zebra. And then underneath him, we've got Mag. And Mag is our jungle jag boy. A lot of people have met Mag at the shows because he's such a great, like, just ambassador carpet because he's, like, super chill and he's beautiful. He's, like, super yellow. And then we've got inlands. A pair of inlands in here. One of the female is Aurora's snake Mia, which is her favorite snake, the inland girl. And we recently just got her a boyfriend. His name is Frank. And they're hanging out together. And then at the bottom we have my big girl Freya, who's like my 8-foot. She's a jungle diamond jungle.
Yeah, she's a low
percentage diamond. But she's one of my.
She's an 8-foot and has jungle in her. That's a massive jungle.
So she's diamond. She's like 7 foot, like 8.
Yeah.
That's still pretty big because diamond and jungles are small compared to your like coastals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
she's
And this was one that we had gotten from Grant family.
Yeah, Grant family.
Yeah.
They had just had like this. A customer, I think, what they said that had it, and they had one snake, and I'm like, okay, so we got her, quarantined her, and everything, and Stacy fell in love with her. And
I did instantly.
This is the first snake that we realized would actually come. This is gonna sound really weird.
Wait, let me finish.
Okay,
saying
go ahead.
what we-
Go ahead.
And then down here behind me on the very bottom, we have our pair of bread lies and Breadlies. Brettles. Everybody says it different. But those are our Fuego, who's my really sweet boy that we always bring to shows. So everybody knows Fuego, and his girlfriend, and they're hanging out together.
And then up at the top,
yeah,
like those are all of our favorites. These 5,
6.
and then these 5.
Oh.
That isn't. I mean, she is beautiful, but that is my. We're gonna put you in a display case and tame you down, crazy zebra.
She's still a little defensive.
It's just to make sure that I stay in practice with the feisties and cool them down. We're going to be starting YouTube soon, and that is going to be part of our YouTube channel is me taming that thing down and maybe shedding a little bit of blood and tears while doing it.
You have fun with that.
And then up there are actually an experiment. So I've heard plenty of people doing it, and
We're bringing ball pythons to carpet pythons.
That's in the other room.
Just making sure we're getting that out there that the Moss family breeds ball pythons to carpet pythons. That's a huge thing.
Actually, they have not.
You've heard it. You heard it here first. He's hiding it. Don't listen to him. He can't wait to make spider. He's waiting to make spider jag ball carpet pythons.
Oh no!
Spider. Then like it would wobble this way, but then wobble back.
It cancels out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
They might be the perfect snake.
2 negatives equals a positive. Katie!
She can't hear you yet. Oh.
Well, you just tell her that I said
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Katie's here.
No, just
Robert,
Katie.
stop it.
Sorry.
Oh, it was him.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
You're fine.
I thought she was yelling at me. Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, I forgot there's 2 Roberts on tonight. Damn it.
Robert. Yeah.
I was eating some dried pineapple and forgot Katie.
I don't do well with food noises.
I'll be right back. I gotta get a drink.
Okay.
The top 2 are actually a trio of children's pythons and a trio of striped spotted pythons.
Well, that's
so
cool.
Having them year round to kind of experiment with that. I cohab feed them. It is a very stressful situation.
But it's been successful. So
It
far.
has
We
been
haven't had
successful,
any
but we are
issues.
not telling you to do that. There is a point where like you work on mastery with these things, and I feel like this is the next level. There are huge risks that we are taking while
Well,
doing
those guys have a huge feeding response
Oh my goodness.
for a little snake.
I can tell with the children's python, which is I understand that it's the last name of the guy that described.
It is not a python for children. 100%.
But a lot of people will say that, and I literally am like, I can't tell when a children's gonna bite, but I can tell you whenever a carpet's about to bite. But like, I cannot. But I can't really tell the difference between the females and the males in there, and the male in there, except whenever I stick my arm in. Whoever is attached whenever I pull back, that's the boy.
Well, I can tell you that our children's python was probably the spawn of Satan.
Nothing hated.
Oh.
So,
Was it
you
a
know,
male?
there's that.
It was a
I have a
female.
theory that the males are just
Nope.
contained.
This was a girl.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, a lot of things in this house hate James, but
Oh no, she was fucking evil.
she was. Oh, it was
Everybody's like, it'll
bad.
calm down as it gets older. Nope.
No,
fucking never
nothing.
did.
Yeah, the male that's up there is pretty like intense because if I just move my hand in front of the glass, he's like
Yeah.
ready to come at it. I'm like, whoa, bro.
Too much.
Yep.
We're cool, but none of the other ones are like that up there. All the rest of them are okay.
So that's what's back there.
Yeah.
The bread lies whenever we cohab feed them, and that was a stressful situation the other night because the Fuego ate his rat super fast, and then Stacy's like, because we have to sit out and wait.
We sat there and watched them to make sure they were good.
Yeah, so that's Stacy and I's time where we like have to be together.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing
God,
else that we can do.
Don't want to be together any other time, but got
I've been
that.
in meetings since 3:30, so you haven't seen me since then.
There you go.
I will say for
The
anybody else,
second one lasted forever.
I will say for anybody else out there that wants to cohab, you can do that. Or like for things I cohab, I always have a feeding bin separate, just so I don't have to deal with that.
Definitely.
And then move them
Oh my
back.
gosh, yes.
Now, with that saying, I do not feeding bin all my damn snakes. That's a stupid thing that got passed around to newcomers in the hobby forever ago. Stop that shit. You can feed in your enclosure.
That was because of like getting ball pythons to eat, so they put them in like a brown paper bag or a feeding bin because it's literally the only thing that this thing could see. And it kind of like, go ahead.
The lie that got spread was that you had to put them in a feeding bin because if you feed them in their enclosure, they'll be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, I remember that myth.
That's the lie. That's the lie of why to do it. But I think the cause was that.
I do. People stepping around, taking them out, trying to feed them. Yeah, I do know that.
I have a feeding bin in my classroom. Actually, we have an older glass tank. It is for a lizard. It's not for a snake. But
because you don't want crickets loose running around in your lizard cage.
Well, the bearded dragon, it was still super small, and so I just would, if the greens go in the bowl in the cage with it, but for any of the insects,
you're not afraid
or
the greens
anything,
will run away.
No, the greens aren't going anywhere. But I would move the bearded dragon. But even the students would be like, "Oh, it's feeding day. We have to move the." And so that they would scoop the bearded dragon up and then drop it in the feeding bin. And we started feeding when we would give the box turtle insects. We would put it in there too.
Oh yeah, I love watching box turtles eat worms.
Me too.
It is like Godzilla tearing through buildings.
It's literally the scariest. So, like everybody sees videos of like Komodos ripping the intestines out of stuff. Fucking watch a box turtle eat a pinky or a worm or
baby
anything.
Box turtle go after it.
Yeah,
that's what I need to do. I need to get my box turtle back from Rachel.
Yes,
I need to get her. I've had her for so long, and now that I'm
so much fun.
Yeah,
she's fun.
She would I would give her a super worm, and she would bite the head, stick like one claw in the middle of its body, and just rip it open.
They're vicious. They're vicious little things. And you don't think it because you're like, oh, this cute little box turtle. No.
That's what you need. You should need a video of a box turtle eating a pinky mouse in slow-mo with like horror music behind it.
Cool in slow motion. Oh my god.
Horrifying.
So just to recap, we do not suggest cohab feeding. In fact, Daniel Davis is watching. So he is one of my curators, and he has a really cool channel, D3.
I put the comments on my phone down here, so
Robert, so I can see.
Oh, nice.
I'm actually reading.
He's reading the comments.
It's a new experience for me.
Reading's hard.
James doesn't read a lot either. It's
Sound
okay.
the words out.
Yes, I'm. What? So he actually, I met him down at a Thibodeau show. And he was like, yeah, he's a paint and body guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm looking for a snake to put in. He said, I like building my own enclosures. I said, oh, okay. Well, what do you have? And he's like, I've got I just built a 6x6x2 enclosure and I'm looking for something to put into it. And I'm like, I've got a pair of striped coastals that need to live at your house. And he said, well, what if they breed? And I was like, yes, that should happen. So this year, he went and got him from last year. This year, we walked him through everything. She had 6 good eggs, and they are currently incubating. And we look forward to seeing those striped coastals out in the next month. So I guess that kind of segues us into. Oh, but whenever I told him cohabbing, you are to take the male out and put him in a bin so that all feeding response is in there. Wait until the next day, then put him back. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you can put him back after they're done eating. And I'm like, just leave them out for the night, return them in the morning. They're carpets, they'll be fine. So yeah, that is, if anybody does it, I suggest never anybody without any experience. And I let them know that the warranty that we give with our snakes is completely void if you do that. This is not responsible keeping if you do not have experience. And even with experience, it can be very dangerous.
So I want to get into y'all's business. If people haven't figured out by now, it's around carpet pythons.
Oh, that's the OG.
Yeah. But I want to go through our question first that you gave us to post and go through those answers. We'll discuss those answers and then get into your business as well.
Did you post my question?
I did. There's only one response and it happened like 10 minutes ago.
You guys suck.
We'll go over your question.
Wait, what was your question?
We'll go over hers later.
We will, because it actually ties into you guys.
We'll get
why I came up with the question.
We'll get there. Calm down. Breathe. You haven't been home long enough to be all upset yet.
I know. No, I've been looking at.
Anyways, all right. The question was from what I got from y'all was, should I changed the wording a little bit, but it was should every breeder personally sell babies they produce, and should every seller produce what they sell? And I wanted people to explain their answers, because if you've ever
should every seller Okay.
Got it.
Sorry, it took my brain a second to like grasp
welcome
the
to the
words
show.
you were saying.
Welcome to the show. Basically, if you produce snakes, should you be the one selling them, or can you give them to somebody else to sell, or sell them off wholesale and not worry about that? Or if you're selling snakes, should you be the one producing them as well?
Gotcha.
So I want to go through the answers that we got, and then we'll discuss it. So Kyle Graff said, no way. I think the seller should be informed on the species they're selling and should be honest and open with the customer. That's all. Who cares if Jim Bob gave Tammy Sue? That tells us a lot where Kyle grew up, apparently. Some balls to sell because he's at a different expo or perhaps doesn't like dealing with expos. Also, importers have a bad rep, but the good ones like Ashley Dezan, who we've had on here. Yes, she is great. Or Dan's Mallory? Isn't that Dan's last name? DM Exotics. Yeah, Dan Mallory. Are extremely important for getting fresh blood into our discipline. That, or perhaps like in my case, I just want a snake that's harder to get in the States and need a species imported. Okay, so we've talked about importers on here before. There are some good ones. There are a lot of bad ones. If you get imported animals, please be very careful. Do research. If you get imported, we'll talk about this again on another episode, I'm sure, in detail. But if you get imported animals, just be very careful who you buy from. Our friend Danielle said, no. Now, I do think that the seller should be upfront about having not produced what they're selling, especially if it's a straight up breeder and a buyer would otherwise assume they produce the animals. Also, I'm going to try to bribe some friends to put, she had a surprise clutch of king snake eggs.
I think I heard about this.
Yeah, she got a king snake that's not supposed to have ever been with a male. And then
surprise.
And then it laid a clutch of eggs. She's currently
Who did that?
Danielle.
Oh.
Danny up in Dallas.
So she's currently incubating some king snake eggs, which I didn't realize that she had messaged me a while back. She goes, hey, do you know anybody that has experience breeding king snakes? And I was like, yeah, go talk to Split Rock Reptiles. And so she did. And then I found out from our friend Megan what happened.
That's what it was.
That makes sense.
Oh, that's funny.
They're speckled kings?
No, these are desert, I think.
Desert. Yeah, they integrate.
Yeah. But so she says she's going to try to get folks to put those on the table for her. So she'd be a hypocrite if she said people had to sell things they produce themselves. Also, in case there's any confusion, I didn't pair the snake.
I was
not
going to say
informed.
that's a tricky situation because she did not go into this as I want to breed this snake. No, like it was just snap, look what happened.
Our friend Nathan Holcomb, who was in the chat, who's been having the worst luck trying to get his stuff that he won from us. The postal service has like sent it and then taken back and then lost it and then found it again.
Yeah, it's been not liking his address very much.
Yeah, it's been a pain. I'm sorry, Nathan. Hopefully you get your cockroach food and then eventually your cockroaches. But Nathan says, I'm going to say no. While some people may just enjoy breeding and the challenge of some species may not like people, which seems to be a lot of the reptile hobby. And a lot of the reptile hobby are not people. It is easier and quicker to wholesale a bunch of babies and let somebody else deal with the public. I get that. I do think the person selling should at least be knowledgeable of whatever they sell. I also get that. James Barry said, I think he said he thinks I'm just trying to justify keeping my babies. No. Trust me, when these babies are ever born, if they're ever fucking born, they will get sold by me or someone else. But they're
he's already got plans for the money once they sell.
I need them gone.
He's like, I need these babies to be here and I need them to eat and I need them gone.
I got stuff I gotta buy. Our friend Brian Lovin says that is 99.9% of how he operates, which is why I will probably not vend any shows this year. The only deviation from that is I get snakes from Badlands Herpetoculture, which we've had on here before. Or I may sell off a project I didn't produce, but I don't sell them as mine. I'm upfront about it from the beginning. So everybody's kind of the same. We're fine with it. You guys have been to enough shows. We've all been to enough shows where we've seen the people that sell other people's animals, and we've seen the right ways that people do it, and we've definitely seen the wrong ways for people to do it.
And depending on what show type, which show you're going to, you're gonna see.
Yeah, it's
different. That's the other thing is you've got to remember, and for the people listening out there, or the ones like me that are not necessarily super, because here lately we've gotten a lot of people that listen to our podcast that we've realized are not actually reptile people.
Yeah,
they just listen to the podcast because they think it's cool, which blows my mind a little. But
weirdos.
I think it's great. But
if you're listening to this podcast for fun, there's something wrong with you.
Or they just love one of us. So that's probably what it is. But the shows are put on by people. And so when we go to do a reptile show, it's not always the same person. So each show is going to be different depending on the company running the show. So when we talk about how...
Just waiting for the point.
I'm going to throat punch you in about 2 seconds. When we talk about how we've seen shows where it's been done the right way and we've seen shows where it's not been done the right way.
But I'm not even talking about shows. I'm talking about vendors individually.
Right. But those vary from show to show.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Kinda.
And
Well, there are definitely some shows that allow
other things
a
like
wider variety of
what's that one in up north where you can get like crocodiles or whatever?
Hamburg.
Like obviously those rules are different than the shows.
I don't think
we're gonna go
Hamburg
to down
has
here in the
rules.
South.
I'm not sure. From everything I've heard, Hamburg has no rules, and you can just buy.
So it
babies
depends
there.
on where you live, depends on what you're doing.
But with that said, I'm with the whole look. I like to sell what I produce, but that's me. All of this is personal preference. Like I don't have tables at every show. I'm not one of those that does a table for every show because I don't have shit to sell all year. That's my biggest problem getting a table for a show is I'll have a litter like in the middle of the year. I cannot get a table for another 6 months at
Yeah.
a show. So I just don't have stuff. All the
And
time.
like we don't know when this one's gonna draw babies. So
She's never gonna have babies. She's gonna be like the neighbor from the Family Guy, and she's gonna be pregnant.
she's
for
gonna wait till the
6
week we're in the Smokies, and then Robert's gonna have to come
help
over
you.
to the house and take care of it for us because we will.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'd be like my rainbow boa litter when we were in fucking Amarillo, and my snake was giving birth in Louisiana. So, but-
It happens every time.
but yeah, if you're gonna breed, if you're gonna sell stuff you don't breed, that's fine. But I agree with them. You gotta be upfront and tell folks, look, I didn't make this, but it came from this person. Keep it if they want lineage on it, you can get it to them, or just be upfront and say, look, I got a 10 baby whatevers, and these are what I have. So yeah. Anyways, long story short, yeah, I'm okay with going either way on this.
I think
and
so.
I definitely know some people that are not meant to sell animals to people or talk to people.
They hurt the market for the people who rely on it.
Well,
Potentially.
yeah.
I agree with that
Well,
100%.
Well, yeah, there's two sides. There's definitely ones who should not be selling animals in fucking general. And some of them I'm even friends with.
Some of those people shouldn't be around people in general.
But then there's the other ones who there's other ones who do have great animals. They just are not people, and they should
Yeah.
not be forced to sit in front of people at a table and try and sell stuff to people.
Well, but
And
like
should
you
be-
just said, is
because the herp community, from what I've found, or from just listening and sitting back, is like, well, how dare you put those together if you're not planning on selling them, to yourself? It's like, well, that's not fair because, especially some of these species where you can't, they're not, like you said, you're after rare species sometimes, James. And I mean, how many people are like, afraid of being shunned, so they don't breed those animals? They have all the knowledge to do it, but are afraid to because they don't have an outlet. And I think that just the judginess of, some of the reptile community can affect that. Are y'all frozen again? Did they freeze? I think they froze.
No, it appears that they are frozen.
Yeah, Katie said keep going.
Don't
Keep
make-
talking,
Nope.
Robert. You're doing great. Oh, there they are.
yeah. And I was just about to text
I'll keep
you.
talking. I'm restarting everything.
He's gonna restart everything.
That's
Apparently, there have been issues.
Well,
Keep talking, Rob. You're doing great.
It's true because there are some people that are more introverted that just really love reptiles and want to breed their own reptiles just for the experience of doing it because they love the animals. That don't necessarily want to have to go to shows or get in front of people or sell to the public. And then the other side as well, there are people that are really good at selling that they don't maybe have other people breed for them, or they do breed some things and not everything. But yeah, as long as you're like, hey, this is who breeds it, we can sell it.
So it really is.
It helps those people out too.
So for a perfect example, I don't want to breed. I am forced into breeding because I am addicted to a species that I can't, that there aren't a lot of. It is what it is. And
Yeah.
And there should be more out there so that more people can experience, have the chance to experience what I have and see through, just really get the chance to experience a carpet python, which you will now experience. And I hope you catch the bug, sir. Anyway, so for an example, what happened with me, and I really wanted James to be on here to hear this. So this weekend, we are getting packed up, or the last 2 weekends in a row, we're getting packed up and for the show. And last weekend was worse than this weekend. And I've got a clutch of, zebra albinos hatching. And the lights go off.
Oh yeah, our power went out.
while we're
wow.
packing up to go to the show in Conroe. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the first thing that I think is, okay, we've only got these babies here because we just moved back. So our incubator is over at the in-laws. My mother-in-law's not super thrilled about it. But I appreciate it. And I paid the electricity bill. So all is well. So I bring the clutch over here and I'm incubating in the smaller incubator and the lights go out. So I'm like, well, not leaving them here. They're currently hatching. So I pack them all up. Long story short, the electricity comes back on. I'd already contacted Sean Gray for the herps, and he's like, dude, bring them. You know, they got people that hatch eggs up there. As long as you got heat and everything on them, would be great. So it's wound up being a cool experience anyway. However, the stress that I'm experiencing as this is the first time I'm doing this is uncanny. And like then this weekend, I have, and I am not kidding you, what is it? 40 eggs that are hatching whenever we're like in pipped coming out. I can't rip them out, even though I want to be like, just come here, there.
Just come out.
Yeah.
Be good at this. But I'm like, okay. Oh, hello.
You can keep going.
Hello, oh so smooth.
Oh, are they frozen?
It's frozen again.
Immediately froze as soon as he got in.
I think it worked.
Restarted it.
What the? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
There we go.
live now.
Jesus Christ. Okay. For those that got to hear it live, you got to hear Robert Squared and Stacy talk. For those of you listening on the recording, you're hearing nothing because I'm about to start it. So 1 second, just we'll pick up.
Yep. Do we want us to restart? Everybody, is it okay if I restart that little story?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Is it worth it,
Stop.
Robert?
Stop talking.
Just hit the button.
Press the
All right.
lever, Crunk.
I'm trying to press the button, but I gotta press the button and then introduce us back in. So when I edit it, I can put it back together. Shush, everybody.
What are you waiting on?
Shut the fuck up. Here we go.
Huh? Oh, fucking love it. All right, we're gonna be serious this time.
Okay.
I doubt it. Hold on, I gotta wait for my machine to. It's fucked up now. Here we go. 1 second. All right, we're back to the second half of this interview, and everyone else in the interview sucks.
Oh,
Stacy
you're the one
Stacy
that-
didn't do
Stacy's
anything.
great.
Stacy's great.
Stacy's
What are you
great.
talking about? It's
Stacey's
just me and the
wonderful.
boys.
It's just the rest of
Yeah.
y'all suck.
Thank
Just
you.
us.
Stacy's wonderful.
Thank you.
All
I,
right,
was, I didn't feel like I deserved that.
Oh
Stacy's
god.
fine.
It's
Those
fun
things.
to mess with him. Nobody does. It's so great.
So
Anyway,
I have all the lights turned off in here so that it doesn't look crazy. And
Except for the twinkly stars.
except it
Yeah,
looks
it's
crazy.
weird.
it's
So-
yeah.
my one of my my only surviving tailless whip scorpion thinks it's Stark, so it came out, and those are the craziest looking animals.
fucking weird.
Those things are scary looking. If they were like the size of like a dinner plate, they'd be a thing of like nightmares.
Are we talking about vinegaroons? What
They're
are
not
we
No.
vinegaroons. Vinegaroons are the big old fat ass. These
Yeah.
are the flat ones.
Whip scorpion is.
Yeah.
It's got the funny long arms on the front.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
It's
The
pretty
way-
flat,
the
triangle shaped.
thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, not going to
JT.
that cave.
JT Grant brought me 2 of them yesterday, and one of them immediately died. But the other one seems to be doing good.
Did you?
I came home last night and it was upside down, and an isopod was eating it. So I was like, well, that's a
That's
sign.
isopod enrichment.
Yeah, I just left it in there. It's still in there. There are like 4 of them on it right now.
They're
Like
like
the
this
isopods are for.
edible jungle gym.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
Darren's
they don't bite, and they don't have venom or anything. So I like them. They're cool.
Darren Watson said you missed the Chinese alligator story.
Shut up there.
Uh,
Anyways, let's get back. So hopefully our internet will stay with us this time. I've restarted everything. Hopefully it's happy. Katie's like, do you think it's the storm? I'm like, no, our internet has stuck for the last 200 something episodes, and I haven't been storming every single one of those.
Look, according to AT&T, it's fine.
Starlink.
Obviously, it's
I
not.
strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Just get Starlink.
I am thinking about switching to Starlink
Yeah, I
for
mean, as
internet.
up,
We
you know.
talked about it.
The only problem is I do everything. So I've got AT&T phones, I got AT&T internet, and I got DirecTV,
Yeah.
and having all those together, they're bundled, and it saves us money, even though
AT&T
It really
Fox
doesn't.
Could be good theoretically as far as
Yeah.
like what you're getting in. That should
But this
be
is
the
trash.
best.
I wonder if our router just sucks. But maybe they need to replace our router.
Hey, the
modem.
The Orbi is amazing. They just came out with a new one. I would highly suggest the Orbi. It's a small fortune, but totally worth it. It does like 6,000 square feet per router.
That might be it.
Well, you lost me at small fortune because I don't have a micro fortune, let alone a small fortune.
But once those boas come out, I feel like
I gotta buy.
Yeah.
I already have a list of things that I've got to buy.
He even messaged me this afternoon to tell me about it.
So, all right, let's get. So we discussed before we really got knocked off by AT&T's internet. We're talking about people's thoughts on if you had to breed what you sell, if you have to sell what you breed, yada yada. So let's get into your business, because your business is fairly new, but you guys have done pretty well for yourself in the very short time that y'all have been a business. So let everybody know kind of what it is, when y'all started, and we'll get into that, and then we'll kind of tie it into our question.
Well, if I can finish out with just saying
no. Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, my stress is I never wanted to breed. And I got looked at by another vendor, and it was like, look, if you don't breed, no one will take you seriously. And so I got forced into breeding, right? Like business decision. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I've got adult carpets all over. And then I found out, it's actually easier to breed them than not to breed them. Like, it's one cage to clean and nobody's eating, so it's fine. So I made a lot of babies last year. And then this year, with us doing more shows, I ran into issues where I've got babies hatching as we're packing up to go to a show for the weekend. And I don't like being in that situation, especially because 2 weeks ago, I'm going to, like, people who are on here heard this part of it, but essentially the lights went off. I had albino zebras hatching, one of my more like sought after looking for clutches. And I call Sean Gray and I'm like, hey, I'm going to bring these eggs that are hatching that are already pipped to the show. Is that cool? I've seen those at the show. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Well, then the lights come back on right before we leave. And I'm like, I'm going to bring them anyway. So that was good. That actually turned out kind of cool. Well, then this weekend, literally the next weekend, I have 38 to 42 eggs that have pipped the morning of. That night, everybody's either sticking their heads out or halfway out, and I'm like, time to call the ex and see if she'll come over with my son while we're gone so she can put up, a couple times a day, a few more snakes. And it's just a stressful situation. So whenever I say everybody who sells, maybe shouldn't breed, it's because if you're taking this seriously and you're doing a lot of shows, like, you're gone a lot. And those animals need to be under observation. So we're looking to bring somebody on that I can trust to be here with our animals if we're going to continue to breed. But really, and the people on the chat, there's a few of them that are actually either already curators for me or working on curators. Like, I will send them, hold back quality animals or adults, and they can breed. And as soon as they hatch the eggs, hatch, I want to be daddy. I want to know everything about that animal. I want to have its first shed. I want to get it eating. Once it's established, that way I know everything about that animal.
Hey, Robert, could you never say you want to be daddy to me again? That just very awkward.
Sorry, everybody. I only said that to Robert. I was just
okay.
And I'm okay with it.
Something about the pillowy beard and just knowing that's a good place to snuggle. No.
And find leftovers.
Which may have happened before.
The Family Guy, like, bird nest in there.
I'm going to the barber Saturday morning and getting about 2 inches cut off of it. So,
oh my Lord.
If you could not say that to me again. That's kind of where my stance is with the curators and with, our business motto, and what we're kind of going after is kind of, there's so many people in the reptile community that are like, I'm lone wolf. And, I heard that a few times, and it really made me start thinking maybe I'm an overthinker, which is like kind of seems silly because, you've actually talked to me, doesn't seem like I think very much. But like lone wolf, and to call yourself a lone wolf in nature, lone wolves don't do very well. They're either not strong enough to be alpha, or they can't agree with the others and work as a team. I don't want to be a lone wolf. I want to surround myself with people that I can rely on and they can rely on me, and we can work together. And I don't need to be alpha. I just need to be a part of a pack, you know, if we're going to use that analogy. But I don't know. That's kind of, you know, where our business ideas have come from and sprouted. And we have Kaylin and Jarrett, who were not able to be on here tonight, even though they really wanted to.
Well, he was asking earlier about how long we've been doing this and
Oh,
when
sorry.
we started.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
so maybe like
Start
go back to that. Yeah. Like,
where would you like to begin?
So when when did you start this as a business?
July 3rd, June 3rd,
20,
3 years ago.
yeah.
23 years ago.
No.
No.
No, I know. It's 3 years ago.
21. Yep.
June of 2021.
Yep.
So 3 years ago now this month, we made
Has
it
it already been 3 years? Wow.
Yeah.
LLC. So yeah, we've been doing it full time for about 3 years exactly now.
All right.
Yeah.
So
The first show I remember you guys like getting to know you was at Corpus. We went out to dinner, and you remember Logan and your kids all stayed at the hotel together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and that was like the first time I met you guys. And God, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, dude.
Coming up on
your
it.
son. Holy cow. Yep. That made me realize that I have some growing to do.
He's a great kid.
He is awesome. That little human being is pretty impressive, buddy.
I agree. Thank you, man.
You've got an awesome.
So before you, okay, so 3 years ago you started as a business. Before that, when did your collection go from like, hey, I've got a couple snakes to like, all right, we're going to start because you didn't, like you've said, you did not come into this with, all right, I've got 100 snakes and I'm going to breed 100 snakes and start making babies and start selling my babies, right? So how was that transition from I've got a few snakes to go, hey, we could make a business selling snakes if you weren't going to be the main supplier of your snakes?
When or how or
Yes.
All of the above.
Okay. So if you don't know this about me, I did not go to college for sales, but I got into sales in a dealership that the previous owner who passed away was like always made fun of for how much money he spends on training for his people. Like
training his sales training. Like
would bring in guys to talk that he'd pay, $50,000 to $75,000 a week to come and talk to us and give like seminars. And I was at that age where Charlie was, about to be born whenever they were starting to pump this stuff into me. And I came out of the oil field. So I had a work ethic, and then I really liked people. And then I was listening to this stuff from these people that were motivational and like talking about dealing with other people and learning how to connect. And it was just hitting me at the age where I wasn't jaded to it. So you see these old timer car guys like, oh yeah, whatever, think about it and it become real and all this stuff.
I see it on my sales team at work. The younger ones are
like
eating it up, and the older ones are just like, whatever.
I'm too cool to grow, but me, I'm like on the edge of my seat, like, wait, what?
Oh,
You
yeah.
mean, as I think, so shall I become? Okay, so positive thinking attracts, the things that you're looking for. And like, if you go after, okay.
Well, their sales training involves a lot of psychology and like law of attraction, things like that. So it gets really deep. Like it's not just sales. It's like connecting with people and like how to speak to people and like the psychological side of it.
These are the teacher trainings that we sit through, and James thinks they're a waste of time. And I'm like, give me more.
Yes.
And I need all the information.
James, you're jaded or you're just too good.
I'm okay being jaded. I'm comfortable with it.
It's because I teach elementary and he teaches high school. And so it's two totally different.
I also, so someone posted something online this week where it's like, people don't learn from people they don't like. And
you don't care if people like you.
And that was the whole thing they're arguing was, if you're one of those that says, I don't care if they like me, yada, 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 then you're the problem. I disagree with. I think it's not just kids, it's people in general nowadays, and we see it everywhere, don't know how to deal with adversity. And that's because we try to aim everything at making it easier for people.
Mhm.
That's something against sales. Sales, you have to, it's a completely different thing.
Oh yeah.
But like, I'm okay being the one teacher out of their 7 in a day that's a fucking dick that they don't like, that they just have to get through my class and pass it. And they need to understand in their head,
Life is like that.
yeah, I got to get through this shit and pass it. Because again, we've all had jobs where we fucking hated the boss.
I tell my students all the time, you do not have to get along with everybody in your group, but you have to put a smile on your face and deal with it for the 15 minutes.
Or you may
with
not
them.
look. You may not hate the boss, but you may hate how things corporate does things, or you may hate how it has to be done from above. But you still got to fucking do it because you kind of want to be able to pay rent at the end of the month. So like,
but James, you say that like, and you use all the vulgarities and stuff, but I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up. So
it works.
If those kids come to you and you can see that you can impact them, and instead of the sword, you would give them the blanket, I feel like you're the guy that would give them the blanket.
Yes, they just have to be able to get past me being a dick part.
Yeah, you're gonna lose a limb.
You man.
They just have to be able to understand that, okay, this sucks, but I need to get around this and make it work. And when I see that they're okay with that, yeah, I'll do whatever. I've never failed a kid because I didn't like them.
Oh man,
now
I've thought about it.
I've had kids fail that I don't like, and I may have smiled at the end, but I didn't fail them. They just didn't do shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're like, well, you're a horrible teacher. No, you just don't listen or like me. That's all.
You say that, and then we have a pediatrician who randomly calls to check in and tell you all about her life. That now that she's finished med school.
I have a couple of med school students. They were great. So,
yeah. But then sometimes their aunts write emails.
Fucking
with AI
they write emails. They type it into ChatGPT.
AI programs.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, we're not.
Anyways, back to.
Tool. It is a tool. You know what? My 3rd grade math teacher said, whenever I said, why do we have to write it out? Why can't we just use our calculator? Because you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket.
Yes.
But ask a fucking kid what 7 times 7 is, and they can't give you the answer.
Check whatever it's called. I would like to be able to use it right now. I think that my life would be easier.
I used it today. Hey, I used ChatGPT today to write John Grant a script. Yeah.
I can't get closer.
We can't get closer to ours.
To write John Grant a script. So when he calls customers, we're doing something I have him doing at work. And he's like, I want to make sure he's saying the same thing to every customer.
Yeah.
So I had ChatGPT write the script for him, and it came out perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's get onto that, like scripts. So with sales, people are like, oh, you sound scripted. So there's a difference between sounding scripted and saying things that prompt reaction so that you can get to the point and help them. You don't want to waste time. But you don't want to come across as being like ungenuine.
I will say, look, Robert, I'll say this and this is with all due respect, which always means something asshole is just coming afterwards. But I do mean it.
Ready.
We do not agree on this either. I'm going to go and say this.
No, it's not. I don't know what she's talking about.
Oh, maybe not.
I will say that for a while after I met you, you felt fake. But I know you're not fake. That's who you are. You're not a fake person. That's not what I mean. But that's who you are. And it comes across fake to people who are, I guess, more jaded. Also, it definitely comes across more fake people that are jaded. But it's just who you are. So I think that's another problem. People just don't get to realize that.
Frozen.
I'm not frozen on my end.
He's not frozen.
It's just you, Robert. And your sparkly background.
Your sparkly background.
Your Elton John background.
You guys don't know it, but I'm secretly a vampire.
Oh my God. I was waiting on somebody to make the reference.
Look at my shirt, Katie.
I don't know.
I can't.
It's like one of those filters, those Snapchat filters where it makes it look like an old camera. So it's
all over the board tonight.
Anyways.
I think it's really just 6-year-old.
So reining back in.
But anyways, what I was saying was, it kind of goes along with what you're saying. But if people sit there across from you at a show all weekend and hear you, they're going to hear, and Robert's heard the same thing. They're going to hear the same thing come out of your mouth all weekend. And it's going to sound like it's not genuine. But you've narrowed it down to that is the best script for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make
from there, it'll also prompt responses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get to know people that way. It's here. I'm treating everybody the same.
The same.
And he's
married to someone just like this.
Fucking A.
Okay.
I think this is why I like them so much, though.
Because I'm not saying different words to connect to different people.
Yeah.
At first, at first, which anybody sitting across from me and everything will know. Like, I mean,
well, I think it's like it's maximizing efficiency. Like if you have key points that like get your point across and give all the information that you need to give. Like when they're asking questions about animals, you hear a lot of the same general questions, and so it's like we know exactly and we also want to make sure that we're a united front, so that if people are talking to both of us, we're all saying, like, we're all on the same page. We're a team. Like, this is how we answer questions. This is what we say. So I think it just brings a level of professionalism, and it's like, this is what works. This is what helps us get from point A to point B and get to know people. And
James, is this better? Is this better, James? Here, look. Figuratively walk up to my table. You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
I was just about to say your level of enthusiasm is also 70 times higher than most people. And so that's something that we actually had, I think we may have even talked about it on here one time when we worked at the zoo before we were teachers. We had a new zookeeper come in, and she'd only been there for about a week or so. And she approached me in the kitchen one day. I was helping make diets or something. And she looked at me across the table and she goes, "There's no need to be fake to me. You don't have to be nice." And you remember this now, don't you?
Who said it to you?
Oh, it was the short lady.
Oh, fuck that bitch.
Yes.
She sucked.
When I tell you,
a deer almost killed her, and it was her fault.
Everyone, every other zookeeper lost their shit. They were like, "Don't you dare upset her. You don't know what she does for us." They were like, "That is the most genuine, honest how Katie is all the time. Like, that is not her being fake. That is her being legit to you." And I never had even considered that someone would think it wasn't genuine, because I'm like, that's just me.
Yeah, but she was stupid.
Yes. Looking back, it's okay. People are allowed to have their wrong opinions about me. But
now,
with that,
I love that, Robert, do you find yourself also getting into that salesman thing and maybe saying things that aren't, I'm not gonna say you straight up lie. I'm not saying you lie, but do you say things to aid in the sale more than bend the truth? Do you lose yourself as a salesperson versus a reptile person?
Can you please give me the best example that you can? And I know that that's like a rude thing to do, but like, I'm asking, what is a scenario that, because if you're saying that, I'm imagining that you've heard something where you're like, Robert's saying shit, excuse my language. I was going to do my best not to say one cuss word, and I just let it out.
It's okay.
But hit me.
We have labels for a reason.
And look, we're live. I'm totally good with it.
All right, so
my customers are here. Come on.
Okay, so I've had conversations with other vendors, and then I hear things. So a couple things. One, and we've talked about it tonight, and I think it's changed, but before this year-ish, you really haven't produced a lot of the stuff you sell is not stuff you produce, right? Do you always sell it in a way that the customer knows that you're not the one that produces it?
I'm not going to say, "Hey, by the way, I did not produce these. This is this." No, unless they ask and be like, "No, this is a friend." And if it's somebody that literally does not want to be named, then I will say it is a curator who does not want to be named. The reason that they wholesale to me is so that they don't have to deal with public. So that is what I am here as an avenue for them to do, so that I can still get more carpets. There were 2 people that were not going to breed at all this year because they said, oh, sales are down, because they're listening to all these. I'm not going to say anything about ball python people, but the market.
We will.
James talks about ball python people all the time. It's okay.
The sky is falling. So these carpet people are like, nope. No, I heard that nobody's selling anything. I'm like, dude, I don't have inventory. I will send you the money now. Whenever they come out, I'm daddy. We good? As soon as everybody's out next.
No, we're not good. We're still not good with that.
I said it to Robert as he's like looking at me. So
funny.
But that, I just want to be daddy carpet. That's it. Okay. So literally they will send it to me as soon as they come out of the egg. Like they bag everything up. We've done this already. My first time, and I was super scared of this. I never would have imagined buying carpets like before, they were eating. But like 9 years ago, I got carpets that were bad eaters from a guy who I'm not going to name again because he asked not to.
Yeah.
And he sends those animals over to me. He's like, look, you've been buying carpets. I know that you don't have a big carpet budget, but you have time and passion. Here, I can kind of walk you through how to get these picky eaters started. You don't want them to go anywhere. And this is whenever a time where I thought that I was winning. I was like, okay, he's sending me these non-eaters for 20 to 50 bucks a piece. Like, oh my gosh, I got 8 out of 10 of them to eat, and then I get to hold those back. Lost two. And sometimes I will say that because of an albino, I found this out. Some snakes are just not complete. They just literally, their organs are not together. So like I had one got it to eat, and then watched it through, because you can see through albino carpets. Watched it eat, and then the little brown spot stopped and did not progress, no matter how much heat or anything. So I'm like, okay, so big clutches, some are just not meant to survive. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
That's a hard lesson to learn.
Well, so
Yeah.
Super hard, because I felt like I
Yeah.
was failing. This was the only albino, and I'm like, I got it for
I know it's gonna be the
Yeah.
best. The best
Yeah.
looking one is the one that dies. That's
100, yeah.
You be quiet. You be quiet. I've got babies sleeping in the other room that I don't need. Not sleeping, but
We don't need to put that out there in the world.
No, I produced a zebra this year that I'm like, whoa, that should not be there. So anyway, no, as far as like, do you know why people assume that I breed all the animals that I have on my table? Would you imagine why?
My guess is because you are as passionate as you are. Because they just assume that you know it.
Yeah, that's it.
I think
that's the reason. And I'm not going to correct them, because for all intents and purposes, I did. I made sure. I just had somebody else hatch them for me, and they are coming here.
Well, it's definitely a you jumped into this head on and went. Like when y'all decided you were going to do this, y'all went.
Oh,
and
is
so
there
I think
another way to do life? I'm sorry.
I think the people that have been keeping for 10, 15, 20 years and breeding and selling, that it's two different tracks, and I don't think one can understand the other.
I agree with that.
I
Like-
think I understand theirs.
I think you may now, but I think before, when you talked about you didn't understand breeding, like you weren't going to breed, and then when the one person said to you, you need to breed for people to take you serious, I don't think.
And then you were like, oh, it's a little, it's easier than you thought it was.
Because to me,
no, it's not that it's easier. I mean, yes, that is, but it's the whole forced in. It's because of the perception of the reptile community.
Yeah.
Because the judginess. So I'm like, okay,
so much so.
I was gonna try to pay you guys to just send them to me, but now I'll just have zero cost in them, as IRS standpoint says.
well, and because so for someone like me, my favorite part of keeping is the breeding part. So I think for someone like that, they can't understand where you jump into the selling part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you skip the part that they see as the funnest part, right?
So the personality and getting them to, quote unquote, bond with you to where they trust you, like that tactile reinforcement, and then the actual act of keeping. Here, this is what I want you to do. I really love like upcycling. So like people getting armoires, and I give them this smaller cage. And look, what's beautiful about carpets is that once they're out of this thing, you don't have to stair step. You can literally go to as big as you can find the snake. As long as you can find it in the enclosure, it will not stress out. It will be good. And then I guarantee it now.
How did you get onto that?
I have no idea.
It's okay, because you know what this is actually making me think of? It's like when people foster animals, and you've always got those people that are like, I want the puppies. And then you've got other people that are like, no, I don't want puppy. I want them in like the fully house trained
I don't think it's like that at all.
stage. But no, like I feel like there's different stages to this, and it depends on what you prefer to which stage you're going to walk to.
One of my curators, we're actually working on, like, I have to convince him a little bit more because he's a busy guy. But he's taken the time, and this was their first snake, period. And it was a zebra carpet, which they're famous for being a little foisty. And so this one was just a sweetheart. I mean, it just tactilely chilled out super fast. They were like, oh my God, Robert, you did this so good. And I'm like, okay, sure. And like, we had a really good relationship. And he kept up with me and which I love. Moss family, join the adventure, join the family. And they've kept up with us. And at first he was like, hey, this thing is returning to me. I'll set it outside and it will come back to me. I'll set it outside over here and it comes back to me. I move this way and it comes back to me. I set it inside my house and it comes to me. And I'm like, okay, Stacy, should we tell him what we've experienced with this carpet down here? We will put her in the yard. She periscopes up, finds Stacy, and slowly makes her way to her. She then will go over here, and the snake will slowly go towards Stacy. And I don't think it's bonding like Sparky, like, oh my God, Dad, you're home. It's more like, individuals have been recorded returning to the same tree to digest food for like safety and stuff. So I think that it's more like that. Like, that's my safe tree.
Like a recognized landmark.
Yeah.
So it's weird. But they really are like, I know for scientific guys, this is going to just fall on deaf ears, but I think that there's a different layer to reptiles that we just have not given them the chance as humans to perceive in them. That is personifying, and I understand that that's not right in science, but as pet owners, I can imagine what I want to. Okay. He has now, that individual snake is so target trained that it will not take the rodent through tongs unless it sees the blue target. He has had it for right at a year at this point, and this is a 2-year-old carpet. I mean, the last video that he showed me this weekend was Zeta, is the name of the zebra. Zeta looking at the rodent and then turning, looking for the target to come in. As soon as the target comes in, taking the rodent. It is insane how much more there is to these animals that people, and I don't need to breed something to experience that. Like, that's where it's at, is watching people connect with these animals that I love so dearly. And then the experience that I get from, I would have never known that if I didn't do this.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would have ever gotten to the point to learn from my customers as well, because we're part of a family.
Well,
like,
that's so
what upsets me more than anything is that people, like what happens whenever Robert gets a free badass carpet and I feel like I failed because I didn't keep up with them. But we're working on better things, which I'm going to get into if you would like me to. Like, we're doing a record keeping app, part of what Kaylin does. So it will be the next level of keeping, and for my 40-year life guarantee that I give with my babies as of right now, because I can do that. There's a certain number that I can guarantee. Once I hit that number, I can't guarantee them anymore and actually stand behind what I'm saying. But this app, I feel, will help with not only showing the ontogenetic change and help in the sales process, but will also help with me knowing that the animal's eating the proper size food, has the proper cage, and kind of keep up with genetics on these animals that we're breeding, whether it's us breeding or our curators. Sorry, I'm going all kinds of things.
No, that's awesome.
So, like I said, I think a lot of it stems to how the hobby has been for a long time and the direction you're going in. And I think the direction you're going in is fine as long as the main thing on both sides, that is the animal's health. And that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Because look, and someone mentioned the word earlier. The word that someone in your position kind of has to watch out for is the word flipper, because there's a huge negative connotation to the word flipper in our hobby, right? But we know several people, and we're friends with several people who sell animals that they didn't produce, that I would not consider a flipper, right?
Yeah.
And then we also know ones that do sell animals they don't produce that we would consider a flipper.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. You didn't come up here and play with Pat before the podcast tonight, did you?
No.
Okay, yeah, Pat is very...
Pat also needs to stop shitting on just the rocks. My blue tongue has decided it just wants to shit on the rocks and not the bedding, which I could scoop out easily.
Sorry. I looked behind him, and the blue tongue is literally on the tank behind James, trying to get to him through the glass. And I'm like, what is happening?
Here, I'll hold. Since he's holding lizard, I'll hold.
They normally hang out before the podcast, but tonight apparently they did not.
So I think that's where when someone sees someone come into the hobby and start selling snakes or anything, start selling reptiles they didn't produce, the flipper tag starts to get put on them, and that's where you kind of have to be careful to watch out for. I'm not saying you are. We've talked about you're not, but that's where I think
I am. By definition, I am 100%.
But not by definition of how the hobby looks at it.
Yeah.
Because the hobby looks at a flipper as you're selling. Someone brought in, okay, put it this way. Say someone comes to a show that you've never met, and in a show they have a box of 10 carpet jags or whatever, some sort of carpet python, jags, whatever. Anyways, 10 of them. And you say, yeah, I'll buy them off of you, and then throw them on your table that minute. Right?
Okay. So
that's not.
I have done that once or twice. Not exactly that. Here's how I handle it. Somebody directed to me. And they're like, hey, I have this carpet. And I'm like, I can't take in 1s and 2s. I can't, but I will. It's going to be like next to nothing, nothing for this animal. But I want it in a sense. I'm like, I would like it to be here because I want to make sure it goes to the proper home. So I'll take that animal, and I've done this, and I will set it on the floor next to our stuff. And it's back behind everything, secluded. And if anybody comes in like, man, these are expensive, it's like, yeah, well, they come with, 40-year life guarantee, the proper size enclosure, a budget, so that you can go and purchase. Because if you're going to buy an animal from me, I'm going to make sure that it has the proper size enclosure. You're not just going to be able to afford the animal and then stick it inside of a glass tank. Like, no offense, I'm not saying glass tanks are horrible. It's just I would like for something for you to have a budget already in mind, right? So it's not like, what's a good example? What's a good example of a reptile that you buy for like
a goldfish in an actual
That's not a reptile, it's a
bowl.
fish.
No, it's
If you're wondering, those are.
But that's a good example.
Close, and then you have to go buy the proper setup. And you're like, oh, the proper setup's like $200. We got a vase at home, right? Like I don't want that.
Yeah,
right.
Bearded dragons.
Yeah, that's another
one. But I'm not. Bearded dragons make great pets
if set up properly.
If done properly.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Yes.
But it's not $100 setup. It's not $100 setup of bearded.
Correct. And then it's a reoccurring cost. Yeah, but anyway, we won't get into that. Damn, I don't know where we're going. So talk more.
I know. Well, it's hard to get a word in edgewise.
Well, you did.
So I will say, look, like we said, if someone brings in animals and you sell them right away, that tends to get a negative connotation because the problem is the health of that animal. You don't fully understand the health of that animal because you haven't taken care of it and make sure that everything's fine. And so then turn around and sell it. Or like Robert and I have seen people that will get a shipment of stuff in on a plane that morning from South America, open up the shipment and throw it on their table and sell it that day.
Wrong. There's no justifying it in my book, but I have friends who I am close to. Like
I had one.
Do exactly that. And here's the thing. You're not going to change those people by saying, stay over there, shun you, you're doing the wrong thing. You're going to change. You're going to help those people grow by, in my opinion, by saying, hey, look, I'm doing it the opposite way. I'm this. Here's what you could be doing. Take those animals that you got in from Africa, either yourself breed them, or if you don't want to breed them, then find people who will, and then have captive bred animals that then you can stand behind if you believe in them. And then you have a business that gets better reviews, that has better reactions. So you're not going to change the world by turning your back on it. And
you can do imports, but you can't sell them the day you got them. Or at least
that's what I'm saying.
I feel you shouldn't. Like, they need to go home. They need to go through a process.
Just take those people and be like, oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to talk to you because, you're a dirty, nasty flipper. It's like, you're a dirty, nasty flipper. Can we get that over? Okay. Do you want to go eat dinner and talk about it? Like, here's what we do and how we've been successful. And you don't have to do that because the hobby, that's what it is. We are all here because that was the hobby then.
Well, and the problem is some people are still in that hobby and they have not moved to 2024.
But they've been shunned by everybody else.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's them against the world instead of people coming to them and being like, hey, there is another way. Hey, we're not just judging you. We want you to be successful and we want you to be happy. As far as what I was saying, whenever I would get a carpet in, whenever it's like a 1 or 2, I'll stick it behind my table and I'll be like, hey, so you want a deal on a carpet and you want a bigger one? That thing, I paid $100 for it. You go buy the cage and you can buy it for $150 right now. Does that sound good? No, well, you just paid $100 for it. I'll give you $120. Done. Go spend the extra $30 on an even nicer cage, and we'll be good. Keep up with me. I want to know about the health. I want to know this thing. Here's my information. If you need anything, I'm just glad that another carpet went to a good place.
And you let them know where, like, when you got it.
Yeah, literally. You don't need to lie, cheat, or steal to sell anything. And in fact, whenever you do those things, it's counterproductive. Because my grandfather told me a long time ago, you don't have to remember everything because the truth comes out at people.
No, but we definitely let everyone know. Like, we let people know if we didn't produce it. Like, sometimes people will ask, and we're like, no, like, we have curators that produce for us, or this was who it came from, and we let them know. And then last year was our first year breeding and producing our own, so that was a really cool feeling. And like I saw earlier, Sean said there's a great amount of pride to produce and sell your own animals. And so I agree, because like since last year when we had our first, the first ones we produced, and then this year, our second year producing, it is really cool. Like right now we have like 10 clutches. We're at 10 clutches right now that we have hatched already, and that's pretty cool because we're gonna have, once we get them all established and once they're ready to be available, then we will have like a good amount that are ready to go that we produce. So that's
cool.
She gets that excitement, and I'm like, oh, I didn't kill another egg. Good. Okay.
That's how I feel. Yeah. James is like telling the whole neighborhood we have babies.
Yes.
And I'm like,
well, so the litter
okay.
I'm waiting on now, the litter I'm waiting on to drop now will be the first litter of something I produced from something I produced.
Yeah.
Yes, I got you.
And so I'm super excited about that
that's called
one.
Granddaddy. Your granddaddy.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. No, not happening. But I think some of the negative heat you get is just because you're not doing it the way other people have been doing it for the last 15, 20, 30 years. So they've been in the hobby, right? But you're also not doing it the way we've seen people who we consider flippers when we use that word. You're not doing it that way either.
Thank you.
Which is good.
Yeah,
Well,
that makes sense.
I mean, look, we know when you walk up to a table and there's 30 species on that table.
Unless it's Michael Pinnell. It's Michael Pinnell, he is an absolute animal. That dude.
Michael produced all those 30 things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you walk up to a table and there's 30 species and they start spilling lies about how they did this and that, and I'm like, then why do you only have one of this and one of that? I'm like, these didn't come from you. But that's the one that I think that people get annoyed at, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, Michelle Spencer in the chat just had a really good point. She said it's arrogant for people to think their way is the only right way. And we've mentioned that on this show so many times before. And that's one of the things in our hobby that's really hard for people is, okay, I'm afraid he's going to push buttons on the reset over here.
I've been push buttons and then it'll be fine.
Hold the lever, crunk.
Oh my God.
Just don't let them fall off.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Is it real?
Oh, I love Emperor's New Groove. We watch it every year in my classroom, like the first rainy day that we have where we can't have like outdoor recess.
Such a horrible movie.
Watch it. I love it. It's so great.
You guys
Anyway, do I?
y'all are so different.
We are.
Yeah.
We are so different. Stop getting tangled up in my headphones.
What are you doing with my hairless skink over there?
I forgot what I was saying.
Huh?
Oh, the arrogant people. Yes, but that's
you like bad Disney movies.
No, it's not a bad Disney movie. The second one a little bit, but the first one's great.
They made a second one?
Yeah, there's also a TV series. But anyways, I digress. But no, a lot of people in our hobby feel that way. And we talk about that almost every week. It gets brought up how there are so many different ways to do it. That's one of the reasons I love our questions on Facebook so much. When we get more than one response,
there's two now. There's two.
Our
yours.
listeners let me down.
There's two to yours.
You need to learn all the different ways because what works for you might not work for somebody else, and it's okay to learn multiple ways to do things. You don't have to. Why are you trying to get my sunglasses?
He's supposed to knock your sunglasses off the table. He also just turned your phone on somehow.
I know. Oh my God.
Never,
Take your lizard.
Never work with animals.
Never.
Jeez.
Anyways. So
I think that our industry is the only industry that has a problem with that.
No,
I disagree.
100%. No,
Every industry. has old heads and new heads, and they tend to not go together.
Oh, no,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I meant producing. I'm sorry, producing, not selling something that you didn't produce yourself.
Oh. I thought you were talking about the other.
I don't know. Bird people
Go ahead,
are weird.
James. Think of like 3 or 4 other examples in the
I'm sure
entire
bird
world.
people.
I'm sure bird
probably
people are
are.
fucking weird. They
They
probably.
are
Oh, I'm
strange.
sorry. I meant the exotic pet trade. I
Okay.
Birds are.
Please
That's
do
a,
excuse
birds are
He
exotic.
said other than the exotic pet trade.
Robert, you were in cattle. Is there anything in cattle that goes that way?
Oh,
Not really.
Not Robert Moss.
Not really.
You looking
No one gives a shit if it's a cow. They're like, I just need beef.
I mean, yeah.
Don't
I
get
mean,
dead.
If you think about like craft shows, there's a lot of people that sell stuff they made, but there's a lot of people that sell stuff they didn't make too. So you can't really use that as an example either.
Maybe we're just fucking weird.
Maybe we are.
I mean, animal people are
Man,
weird.
maybe we should like aim the policing at some like real issues, like the
Like these light bulb bans that,
or
Which we'll be talking about. in a
which
few
we
weeks.
are going to be talking about in, I think, 2
In
weeks.
2 weeks.
okay. I do have a question.
I have an answer.
Maybe.
No, I have an answer no matter what.
Okay, so if we don't police ourselves, as in like the reptile community, towards a better new front, right? Then we're asking for someone else to come in and police it for us.
That's been an ongoing thing for years, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. Like, so are there species that are like sacrificial lambs that we can say, hey, these don't belong in the average apartment complex. I don't care what they live in.
There's species we can say that. We say it all the time. Look, the average person doesn't need a retic. You learned that. The average person doesn't. It's not a pet for. It's look.
But you know what, James? It's my right to figure that out.
And
But see, that's the problem.
what they
That's
say.
the bulk of our hobby
Yeah.
is that mentality. And I'm not saying it's a wrong mentality. I'm cool. I don't want someone to say that if I had the space that I couldn't own an alligator or a crocodile if I had the space.
But you should go through chaining, maybe. And
yeah,
I shouldn't be a harder barrier to entry.
I should not be able to walk to a reptile show and go, hey, can I get that Nile from you? And the person go, got cash? And then walk out with a Nile crocodile. I shouldn't be able to do that.
We have helped one of our customers actually procure one of those. He actually volunteered at a at a crocodile, like, what do you call it?
Facility
For almost a year before we helped him procure this.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. And it's the same.
And then
so,
he's like, here's me jumping on an adult. Here's me, talking to this guy. Here,
Lots
look,
of
once it
experience.
gets to this size.
but our hobby,
That's an exception, though.
our hobby is a lot like.
It's not an exception. It's
Well,
how it
listen,
should be.
our hobby's a lot like the gun hobby.
Okay, not everybody should go and be able to buy a tank. Like,
I get
that.
want Billy Bob down
But the
road to
problem
go
is
to a
when we
little
start policing things, it doesn't affect the people that are going to do that shit anyways. And those are the ones we're really worried about. Look, the person that we can talk out of going to buy a Nile crocodile has common sense, and they're going to go, yeah, I'm not going to do that. The other fucker's going to go get one no matter what. What do you need, Robert? He's leaving. He said,
Somebody
"Screw you guys."
knocking at my door.
Tell them to go away unless they got food.
It's your local retic dealer.
Yeah. The other person's going to go get it no matter what. And that's the person that's going to get in trouble later in life and cause issues for the rest of us because they're the ones that's going to break the law no matter what. It's a lot like gun control,
Yeah.
right? If we tell folks,
But
you
with
shouldn't be
gun
able to own these
control-
guns. Good.
But with gun control, and I hear your analogy because I try to make it a lot. And here's the rebuttal that I got, and let's see if it lands on you the same.
All right.
So an AR-15, right? Like, oh, the deer aren't going to come at you like that. No, I'm not defending. I don't want to kill multiple deer, or even if I did want to kill multiple deer or hogs, whatever. That's not the thing. It's that the people who are going to go get the AR regardless are the people that I want to protect myself against. If somebody else goes and gets a retic, they're not going to aim it at me. And I don't need a retic to protect myself against their retic. Somebody needs to go and say, hey, where's your paperwork?
But
Let's make sure that this is all good.
in the same vein, the person that got that AR-15 that was going to do it regardless does something illegal that causes them to pass laws to try and outlaw AR-15s. The person that got that retic regardless is going to do something that's going to fuck it up, that's going to cost them to pass laws that are going to affect everyone else who are properly keeping that retic. Look at Florida, where they had to just kill shit tons of them for no fucking actual reason other than they thought they were bad to have there as pets.
Such a good example because the idiots that, I'm sorry, not the idiots, Florida Wildlife and Fisheries, please, Lord, do not call Louisiana and come here and mistakenly kill all my carpets. So we are, again, if we can say and go to the politicians who just want to get laws passed so that then they're like, haha, taxpayers, I'm doing my job. If we can go to them and say, hey, sacrificial lamb, here's the way that we want it handled. This should work. We are the professionals on this. We are the ones who have the experience. Obviously not you. You can't tell the difference between a boa and a...
Go ahead, Robert. Hold on.
I gotta go. Had something unexpected happen. I'll see you guys later. It was great seeing you guys.
All right, man.
I need to go deal with this. All right.
I'm sorry.
Right. Thanks. Bye, Rob. Bye, James.
Bye. So the problem is it's a very slippery slope. We start policing one thing, and then we start policing something. The next thing, and it's tricky. I agree.
I think what this boils down to is you need to support US ARC because they have people that are working on this for us.
The problem is it also comes down to show promoters, because that's one of the best places for people to find reptiles, and they need to try and keep some of these things from being available to the general public, because really it's the general public. A lot of them don't know any better. They don't know they don't need a retic.
Yeah.
But they're gonna go fucking buy it because the person selling the retic told them it's the best thing. Right.
And they really are the best thing.
In certain situations.
For somebody with experience
and space
and with the capital to be able to manage this animal and with the exit strategy. So again, I'm not saying that, because there are people that do retics that I actually look up to that have good names in this hobby and that do everything the right way. But retics spit out a lot of babies, and if you're breeding those things and you're not keeping track of all the babies that you've done and everything, that's what I mean. It's like, look, for the people who want to do it legitimately and do it the proper way, like, here, let's all come together and I'm not saying us, because I don't know a whole bunch about retics. What I'm just saying is, hey, all you retic people, keep other people out of your market by saying, here's the barrier to entry to breed retics. And if we catch you trying to sell to Joe Blow, guess what? If we came up with the laws ourselves as the reptile community, I don't know if you realize this, but it's pretty tight knit. If you do something sketchy, it's gonna get down the chain, but
it won't. It may. But look, there's a big name reptile breeder who breeds retics, who is still in business today and probably shouldn't be. And everyone knows that shady shit happens through his business, like illnesses and mites and bad care. And yet he's still in business, no problem. So I agree. Something needs to be done. I just don't know. I just don't know in our hobby how we can do it.
I will say this. It's gotten better. I feel like it's gotten better in the last 20 years.
Well, it couldn't have gotten worse.
But it has gotten better. And I think that it's something that will continue to get better as people are becoming more comfortable having the hard conversations.
The problem is you just got to, it's hard to self-police, and you've got to keep actual lawmakers from trying to police us, because that ends up being people who don't know the laws. And
that's all that I'm saying.
And then they end up making, the problem is once they make one law, it becomes very easy to make a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth once you've set a precedent.
And that's why US ARCs, what they're doing is so important. They've been able, they dig through all the legal jargon and find when bans are going to be happening. And then they're able to let people in the community know, hey, we need to adjust this and we need to change this. And
can we imagine being US ARC for one moment and standing up in front of like a panel and then trying to justify all the reptiles, and then like, yeah, I'm also trying to also protect the 20-foot python that can be sold to anybody. Can we do that too? If that out of that ticket if that's the sacrificial lamb, you know, those big giant animals.
But it won't be the last sacrificial lamb is the problem. Once you give them one, look, when PETA comes and helps fund getting rid of large snakes in Florida, which they 100% did, they weren't there to get rid of retics. They're there to get rid of all reptiles. It's just retics are the first step, and it's much easier to talk some government official into this 20-foot snake that can eat a child needs to be gotten rid of. Because once you talk them into that, you can then bring it down to this coastal carpet python, which can strangle a small child, needs to be gotten rid of. And that's gone. This ball python, it's a python. We got to get rid of it. Then it's gone. It's just, that's the problem, is that it seems like we could be like, look, we'll get rid of this one and then we'll be good. But the people that have the money, which are the animal rights, not animal rights, actually no rights, they're the crazy ones. Those fuckers aren't stopping at the things that we're like, hey, look, we'll give you this. There's no concessions there. They want them all gone. They don't want you to own
They're
the
just
lizard.
buying their time.
Give an inch, take a mile.
Yes, and they will 100 take. That's their goal. Okay. All of these bans you see go across the country for this or that, it's not to ban that one species. It's just they tried to find a species they could start with. Look, the ban in
because
Louisiana.
It's easy to make amendments. It's hard to make a first.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ban in Louisiana for snakes 8 foot and larger.
Yeah.
Is the stepping stone. That original ban was written for snakes 6 foot and larger. We've had a small victory by getting them to move it to 8 foot. But when you look at the species that are on that list, someone Google searched fucking snakes over 8 foot and just started putting species on that list.
Yep.
Because diamond pythons are on there.
Yep.
They put Owen Pelly pythons. I'm like, no one fucking has that.
Okay, take the Owen Pellies.
Yeah. They put species of anacondas that no one owns in the States on there. So like that's a person who doesn't know. That's again, it's just a stepping stone, and that's the problem. I agree we need to self-police. I wish we would sell less water monitors. Who the fuck needs?
Question?
Go ahead.
Now this is one where I've talked to people who are vendors at shows that when this statement was asked, they said no. Are hognose venomous?
Yes.
They said no.
Yeah,
They're
a lot of people will.
That's an issue for me being a CYA guy because but then it gets kind of sticky.
So
right?
people like to use that term. Was it medically or
medically significant?
Yeah. And it depends. Because like I've seen Talina got bit by one.
Gonzo's.
And I watched her entire arm from fingertips to shoulder swell up. At that same show, I forget who the other person was.
I don't remember who. I don't know the other person.
Another girl got bit by one at the same show, and she had these giant pus-filled boils
She ended
within
up
a
going to
couple
the
hours.
hospital.
Okay.
So it's
Didn't know about that, but here's my question. Because I was talking to some vendors not long ago because I'd gotten some and I was like, oh, and then I really thought about it because it was a person that I got carpets from and they were like, look, I'm getting out of these. Will you please take them, here, I'll wholesale them to you. They're all well started. And I'm like, yes, everybody likes hognose, like no problem. I wound up selling none of those to individuals. They all went for either trade and then all of them went to trade to somebody. And then another one went to an individual because I was going to sell it to a customer and then just had I don't have all the right regulations. I had them for less than 2 weeks and I'm like, so I just sold it to another vendor for like nothing compared to its value. And like, I feel so much better because I'm an overthinker, right? And I just CYA is kind of like where I live. And I put myself through like if I'm a lawyer and Mrs. Smith, brings little Susie to go and buy her first snake at a no hot show. Mr. James, what does no hot show mean?
That's no venomous snakes.
Okay, good. So we're in a
Again, you've got that in quotations, medically significant.
Yeah.
No, we're just no hot show does not mean no medically significant venomous snakes. It means no what, sir?
No venomous.
Yeah.
Okay. So Miss Smith goes into the show and then little Susie sees on your favorite YouTuber that they make great first pets. She doesn't look anything further.
That YouTuber does say a lot about hog noses. She loves them.
Hang on. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not calling anyone out. Okay. This is all just an imaginary thing. Okay. So then we go into the show and we see them and they're affordable and we talk and, oh yeah, it's about like a bee sting. Oh, okay. Doesn't kind of glazes that over.
That is the worst thing people can ever say.
Yeah.
Hang on. But that is said, right?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
Okay,
But people die from bee stings. Like that's
now we're doing some outside the box thinking right now. Okay. And it's part of my like CYA. And I don't, if I get hate from the hog nose people, understand that it's hate that I am coming to you with love. Like, let's do this. And like, this is something that could happen to you in this scenario that I'm painting. And I only want better. So Mrs. Smith buys little Susie the snake. And they say it's about as bad as a bee sting. So we're thinking she doesn't look anything. She does not correlate the venom because we're at a non-venomous show. Maybe we're just talking about pain level, right? Okay, so that's what she's perceiving. So then they go home, they buy the snake. It's just as bad as a bee sting. Okay, cool. Goes home, little Susie gets bit. Little Susie was listening to me before she went and bought that, and she wound up buying the hog nose instead of the carpet or instead of the king snake or instead of the corn snake because the YouTuber again, and the vendor, we're gonna buy a hog nose. So then she gets bit, and it's like, oh, okay, we'll go get something, we'll get it off, everything will be okay, it's just a feeding response, we'll let him go in a second. What she did not know is rip the snake off the child. Like, get it off now, because that is how you get injected. Because she was at a what show, Mr. James?
It was a non-hot show.
It was which means
that they
non-venomous.
were non-venomous.
So why was she envenomated? Why was little Susie envenomated then? Because she had a reaction like the two people that you just said, but she's much smaller. She had a reaction, and now she's in the hospital for 3 days.
That's actually a great question.
What?
If hog noses are considered to be mildly venomous,
but they're not considered hots by the hobby.
But why?
By the hobby. Not like I get by y'all's definition and what you're saying. I get that.
By y'all,
that's wonderful.
I'm not, sir.
No,
I'm not a herpetologist.
No, but I get by the letter of the law. I get that. But by the hobby, they're not the same as people wouldn't figure Boega, any of those guys.
What are those?
Those are another
groups. I've heard people at shows say Boega, get out of here, but then the vendors are like, "What? The hog nose are right there. What? What? Right?
I mean,
because hog nose are socially acceptable because they're not apt to biting.
Because they're cute.
They really aren't. They would rather play dead and bust all over.
They are cute.
I mean, right?
So I guess
but I don't think they shouldn't be sold. I think that is pure. No, I know. But that is one of those situations where it is purely. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that is one of those situations where it's purely the vendors.
They require small cage parameters to reproduce a whole lot. And the reason that I know that is I have a friend who lives in a tiny home. He wants carpets real bad, but ain't got the space for them. But you know what he can fit? A whole butt ton of freaking.
They smell so bad when
they do smell so bad. That's where they lose me.
I'm not saying anything about this. I didn't have them long enough.
Oh yeah, no. That's where they lose me. We had one for a while.
The ones that I had were all sweethearts. I mean, like literally.
I loved the one we had.
So I just want to hit one thing real quick because Timothy says in the chat he's always heard that rear fangs, which hognose fall in there, have to chew on you to do anything, much like mangroves, which are also a rear fang, and have to get a good bite. That's so yes, they will chew. But you're also talking about an animal that has evolved for millions of years to be able to get those fangs into their prey as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even think about that.
It drives me nuts when people are like, well, yeah, but they really got to chew on you. No. Yes, they can chew on you and get more in you, but they can
open much wider to get you the first try, don't they?
They can angle them before.
Yeah.
I was told that the venom glands are attached to the saliva glands. So it's actually their saliva that's got the toxin inside of it. So if you have an open sore on your hand or wherever it comes in contact, you can actually be envenomated without any scratching or puncturing from the hognose itself. I heard that. Again, not a herpetologist, just the guy who.
I'd have to look. I imagine their venom glands are not the same as something like like a rattlesnake or something. They don't have these huge venom glands that are made to pump in. But yeah. So one of the chat says Boega tagged him, and not even a second, he immediately got itchy. Yeah, and Boega are rear fanged. Like the whole group are rear fanged.
But
Hang
he
on,
also
Mr.
says,
Frog. Let me chew on you for a second. Stop.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah, he also says in the same comment, but the hognose had to chew on him for a good minute. That could just be your body's reaction to each of those
Could also
snakes.
be your hognose. Look,
Yeah.
not every venomous
Or
snake
your
bite.
big ass finger.
Well, not every venomous snake bite has venom, right? There's dry
That's
bites.
true.
Right?
Dry
Yeah.
bites.
So not every hognose is probably biting with the same kind of intensity that some may still bite. It's just, again, it goes straight to, if we're going to self-police, that falls in the same category as retics, large monitors, large tortoise owners, as we talked about for the
We
past
talked
couple
about
weeks on here.
sulcatas for the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
It is the person selling its job to make sure you lay out all the negatives. But the problem is, and especially in the economy we are, where everybody's like, it's so hard to sell stuff. No one wants to say any of the negatives because that could ruin that sell. And we've got to get past that. We've got to get past the point that
it builds trust. Whenever I look at the little girl and the mom and they're touching this sweet carpet that I've already tactilely reinforced, and I'm like, if it bites you, if it nips you, and they're like, wait, what? It might nip? Yes, it might nip. She might do the wrong thing, or it just like, yes, it might nip. Absolutely.
It has a mouth.
And again, let's comparison. If you buy a kitten and you're scratching your little kitten belly,
that bites much worse.
Yeah.
That is potentially worse than a carpet bite. There is more potential to that. Okay, now here's another thing. Let's compare a medium to small sized constrictor or colubrid to a medium to small sized dog.
Oh yeah, no.
And
We've always
we
said
talk about that a lot on here too.
Dog and cat bites
I
are much
have
worse.
A personal friend that has had a kid bit in the face because he touched Mr. Sparky's food whenever he shouldn't have, and his face is disfigured for the rest of his life for a half-second bite. For a half-second bite, this child is completely surgically, they had to take ass meat, butt meat, they had to take a part of his body and put it on his face. Like,
you're with like-minded people.
I know we get it.
We totally get it.
Again, when it comes to policing, it does have to be done within the hobby. But again, the problem is we've got to get past the point, and we won't.
So we don't have a whole lot of time left, just because you have been on here for over 2. Well, but I want to tell you, the next time that we're doing
2 hours and 20 minutes.
No, I haven't eaten dinner.
It's episode 220.
The next time you see Haley or Hannah Gray, I think it was both of them on their SAT, the writing they had to do that particular year was why cats should not be outdoor animals. And Sean was telling me, he was like, Katie, they had it in the bag because they're used to listening to us talk about feral cats all the time. And I was like, yeah. But anyways, okay. So real quick, do your thing.
I don't remember. Oh, so we're talking about self-policing. It does need to be done, but the problem is you've got to get the majority of the hobby to stop seeing animals as dollar signs. And it's very hard because, look, it's expensive to house 20 babies and feed 20 babies until you can eventually sell all 20 of them. It just is. It's got to be an accepted cost of doing it. It just has to be. You have to sell animals and tell the whole truth. And I'm one of those, I don't like to hide any negatives that happen. If something dies in my collection, I don't hide it.
Talk about it.
If I do, I don't hide it. And so when you sell someone that $50 baby sulcata, you need to fully enforce that it's going to become gigantic and tear your shit up.
And don't keep it in the house.
You sell someone a retic, make sure they understand that this thing could reach 14, 15, 16 foot long and cause damage on a bad day. If you want to buy that water monitor, understand it's going to be 7-8 foot long and it can't be housed in a glass tank. It just can't be.
You got to know what you're getting into.
You can't do what a lot of people do, is go into the cell and say what they know the customer wants to hear to make the sell.
Yeah.
And that happens way too often in our hobby. And then that is the first line of defense. That's where we've got to get people to stop, because that's the people talking to the person buying the animal is the first line of policing this. They need to be, everybody needs to be on board.
So then my question that I posed at the beginning of this was, should everyone who breeds sell, and should everyone who sells breed? Typically, the people who are selling are in a position where they know people and they can communicate and they specialize in relationships, and they're not in a bind because they're not afraid of making money. This
Right.
is their day job. This is what they do. And a lot of people need that. Oh my God. I house phone calls all the time, making sure that I'm there for people. If I had a day job, I could not do that. So
Yeah.
then the people who are just the breeders that just go to the shows, they're in court, like they're taking on more expenses, and they're like, oh, whoa, okay, I just need to sell these as quickly as possible because I don't need to do another show that costs me $500 on average.
Right.
Like that can't, nope.
But see,
You can still go and hang out and help sell the animals that you sold to somebody else who knows what they're doing.
But see, I'm that breeder that likes to sell my own animals, but I go into a show knowing, all right, I go into this knowing I could make nothing. So if we go to a show,
which is not normal for people that are doing these shows.
no,
though.
but when we go to a show, I know that I'm paying for a table, paying for gas, food, and hotel. That is basically vacation money. That is what we're doing. We're taking a weekend vacation to a show.
Mhm.
If I sell anything, awesome. I made
The
some money.
vacation's paid for. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that is not the norm.
Yep.
And that's the problem. That's the
Yeah.
problem is it's the people have got to get past. I have to sell something and go,
Yeah.
I'd like to sell something.
Because you, very similar to things that he has said previously, if you're like, I don't know that this animal is going to be a good fit for you, I've seen you tell people, I'm sorry, I can't sell you my animal. Whereas a lot of people wouldn't do that.
And I have no problem telling people it will bite you.
Yeah.
Like, look, there's a day it's going to come. You're going to reach
Yeah.
it. It's going to bite you. Like, you got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. It is.
We're on the
It is-
same page. I know. Kate,
Yeah.
and I think that you're like my wife, maybe. And excuse me. So
I get
Stacy-
hangry.
Okay, and she weaponizes her hanger. She like takes it.
I mean,
and
I
aims
like
it
to.
at me.
Yeah.
She's eating
James
right-
is used. James has had 20 years of putting up with it, so he just ignores me now, and he's like, "Get over it. You'll be fine. Get a snack." But
Grown ass adult. You can
I
wait.
can smell dinner in the crock pot
Okay.
downstairs.
All right. Stop talking about food so we can eat. All right. So we will have y'all on again at some point.
Absolutely, because we didn't talk about anything that I wanted to talk about.
No. So we will definitely have y'all on again at some point, and we will
Right.
talk about.
No, that's okay.
We'll get more into all that.
Was this okay though? Did everybody enjoy themselves?
This is awesome.
It was great. It was great. Everyone in the chat hated you, but other than that, it was wonderful. I don't think they're all
Whatever.
assholes. Yeah. So don't read it. Don't read it. Just trust me here. They're all jerks.
Okay, if people want to get a hold of you before we have you on again next time, what's the best way for them to do that?
I got food in
MF
the
She just took a bite.
MFAReptiles.com is our website.
Motherfucking awesome reptile.
No,
Is that not what it
James.
stands for?
no.
That is, you do with that acronym what you will.
It's open ended.
Yes. So on all the social media, it's mfa.reptiles. YouTube will be coming out soon, so go ahead and follow now.
We have our channel set up on YouTube. We just haven't started.
So just leave it there, put the notifications on, and eventually you'll get it.
It'll come up eventually.
Yeah.
But we do a lot on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So we have all those going. MFA.reptiles, and you can message us there. Our phone number's on there too, or you can go to our website.
Just call me.
MFAReptiles.com, and that has our phone number as well. He's a phone call guy, so he likes phone calls. He will. That's the fastest way to get hold of him is to just call him because
I love it.
he's not a great texter.
And if there's a reptile show in Louisiana or Central to East Texas, they'll probably be there.
Yes, as well as Chicago and Salt Lake City
Cool.
and Alabama and
Whoa. This year, he's like getting into the future now. This year we're doing Tinley Park in October.
Cool.
Fun.
Yeah, we'll be at Tinley in October.
with Carl Vargas. I have got to give that shout out.
Oh yeah.
If you don't
I
know
love
who
We
Carl.
love Carl
Yes, it
so
is.
Carl.
much.
if you don't know who South Tex Gex is, it is because Carl
Get out from under that
a
rock.
hermit.
Yeah.
But that man is absolutely the epitome, in my opinion, of New Caledonia. He produced this guy right here. That guy is
We have big
amazing.
We do.
Absolutely.
We do.
As a human being and a reptile breeder.
Agreed.
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
one of my mentors that I am so proud that he answers the phone whenever I call.
Nah, I love Carl.
He's
South
such a
Texas.
he's a great
He's
guy.
got the best looking leeches I've ever seen.
He's got the best looking
He's got all kind of nice
just
Yes.
But
Mhm.
this weekend we will be in Longview at the Herb Show in Longview.
Yep.
Yep. Go get a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
ever. Yes, the pulled pork.
God. Forgot about the grilled cheese truck.
Yeah.
it's
How far
good
is Longview
stuff.
from here?
Like
Man,
4
I
hours
really
from
do
here.
like talking to you guys. For real, this was great.
Well, you hang on a minute, James. People want to get a hold of you.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to get a hold of us, it is the Reptile Gumbo podcast on Instagram, Facebook, at gmail.com, and give us email. Just a shout out for Simply Serpents. I never actually shout out my business. I don't have.
You're not selling anything right now.
I have
so
one boa for sale. I have one annery. If anybody's like, "Ooh, I really want a black and gray boa," because Katie loves those.
Shut up. They're
I've got
awesome.
one. I've got one baby. He needs a home. So Simply Serpents on Facebook and on Instagram. I think it's simply.serpents on Instagram because they make you put a period there for some stupid reason. Or underscore. I don't know what the fuck. You can find me. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, Lil's Shop of Horrors, for all your feeder needs. Go check out Herp's Reptile Shows, where you can find Moss Family Adventures there as well. And go check out Viv Tech Products to get your LED UVB light bulbs. Use code Gumbo22 to save 15%.
We've got a super awesome guest lined up for next week because I scheduled this guest for next week.
She has
2 weeks because I scheduled the Mosses too.
She's an awesome person.
So,
but it's all about books.
I'm just saying,
So if I
this
fall
is
asleep,
like at least half my year right here. I've got
Two?
2 people scheduled. This is
there's
like
52 weeks in
I'm
a year.
starting to pull my weight around this place.
Right.
It's my job to feed you, but you're cooking your own dinner
I am
tonight.
cooking my own dinner. Fucking hey, what are you doing?
And
Anyways.
we get into like talking about Jarrett and Kaylin, who came into our life and joined our family, and so there's a lot more that I'd love to share.
Yeah.
Yes, we will
So-
definitely have y'all on again.
All right. So
Please.
you guys hold on. Don't go
Hang out.
anywhere while he disconnects everything from the viewers. Everybody else, have a great
We will see y'all
week.
next week.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Bye.